When this guy wakes up after some unknown car crashed him out of the blue, he's shocked to see both his legs missing. His only sister is overjoyed to see him awake, but alongside her comes a traitorous bastard named Xiao Tiankai. He used to be the friend and business partner of our MC, so he brings fruits and a sweet smile. But it's all just a mask. In fact, he was the mastermind behind the car accident, and now he uses our boy's crippled state to take over his company. Even worse, Xiao Tiankai forces our boy's sister to marry him in exchange for guaranteeing our MC's future. Zhao begs his sister not to listen to this bastard, but Xiao Tiankai shuts him down by saying that no one listens to a cripple's barking, and he just takes what he wants. So Xiao Tiankai takes everything from our boy, and he ends up alone in a poor, empty room. Then, as a glimmer of hope, a new game called Divine Path appears. Its key feature is that it allows players to use the abilities they gain in the game in the real world. This becomes his best chance to change his life. But there's one problem. He's broke. Without money to invest, he can't get good resources or equipment, and he gets crushed by monsters. On the other hand, Xiao Tiankai uses his assets to dominate the game, acquiring the best resources and attributes, turning himself into an unbeatable pro player. Everything that should have belonged to our hero is stolen by Xiao Tiankai. In despair, our boy invites this bastard to come to his home and sets up a trap. And he actually comes. Xiao Tiankai laughs at the pathetic place our boy lives in. He clearly sees the explosives all around, but he's sure they won't kill him. Still, our boy wants to try. He presses the button. The explosion blows up the entire building. Our MC is completely wrecked and barely alive, yet he's shocked to see Xiao Tiankai standing there unharmed. This bastard just asks why he even bothered. With the power he gained from the game, those explosives couldn't even burn a single hair on his head. And before finishing our boy, he reveals that he was the one behind the accident that made Zhao a cripple, as well as the one responsible for his parents' deaths. Zhao dies with only one dream, not to let that bastard get away with it. Somehow he wakes up 1 year before the explosion. He doesn't know why he regressed, but this time, he's determined to do everything he can to get revenge on that bastard. There's just one problem. He's been sent back after the accident, which means he still doesn't have his legs. His only chance lies in the upcoming launch of Shen 2, as it will take about a month before anyone discovers that the game's attributes affect reality. He realizes his money hasn't been frozen yet, so he needs to act fast. His sister notices his strange expression and asks if he's in pain. He tells her there's something more urgent. She looks confused, ready to call a doctor, but he stops her and says he needs her help to buy a gaming station for Shen 2, and she stares at him like he's gone crazy. Just then, Xiao Tiankai walks in, and he acts concerned, and asks since when his big brother started getting into video games, as if he isn't plotting our hero's death. He warns that addiction is dangerous, especially when there's a company to manage. Zhao instantly realizes the guy is mocking him. Still, he plays along, saying that since he's crippled, he might as well play games. Taiyan smirks, saying that Shen 2 will launch soon, but the entry units are like over 300 million. Zhao fires back that it doesn't matter, and the company's money is his, and even if it costs 30 billion, he'd still buy one. His sister tries to calm him down, but Taiyan steps in smoothly, pretending to be generous and nice like a true snake. He offers to buy the game for Zhao, promising to handle company matters while Zhao recovers, and then like a creep pulls the sister to his side and says she'll be spending more time with him now. Zhao's smile fades, and he pulls her back saying that she'll stay with him, and with that Tian waves goodbye and leaves the room. But once outside, his face twists in anger and curses the useless assassin who couldn't finish the job, and mutters that next time he'll use a tank because Zhao has to die. Inside, Zhao tells his sister to transfer all the company's funds into in-game currency and sell off every share they own. She panics, asking if he's lost his mind. He tells her to trust him because he has a plan to change their future. 3 hours later, the gaming setup arrives. He even paid 200 million extra in shipping just to get it instantly. As he starts the system, a familiar rush hits him. For the first time in ages, he feels free. In the game world, he has legs again. The system greets him and asks for a character name. He types his full name Zhao and confirms. Rows of characters appear before him, and the system asks him to choose a class. Everything looks exactly as it did in his past life, so he picks what he knows best, the Ranger class. The system grants him an elf bloodline for being a VIP user, giving him a nice bonus where he can get favors from the elves. As a special player, he also receives a reward book that unlocks a skill for detecting weak points. He laughs, feeling a rush of excitement because these were the same abilities he'd mastered before. Then, another message pops up. As one of the first 100 players, he receives a special chest containing a rare talent, but it costs 50 million gold coins, roughly $500 million. Zhao whistles under his breath. That's outrageously expensive, but he doesn't hesitate. Normal money will soon lose all value, and rare talents are priceless. In his past life, one single talent that increased bleed damage helped him dominate countless battles. He transfers the funds immediately. The screen glows gold, a beam of light shooting into the sky. Zhao stares, wide-eyed, as the system announces the reward. It's a talent that can evolve anything, and he can barely believe it because he never even knew something like this existed. Our hero is impressed because this talent shouldn't even be obtainable with just this money. He decides to unlock it fully to see what it does. He gets passive evolution, where he gets a 100% chance to upgrade a dropped item by 1 rank with a 5% chance to trigger intermediate evolution. On top of that, he receives an autonomous evolution. Once every 24 hours, he can upgrade an item by 2 levels, or with a 10% chance by 3 levels. Even though this talent only affects his items and not his own attributes, he knows it will make him incredibly strong in the game. He raises his arms and a gauntlet appears around him, and he knows that this will change his future. Walking through the city, he knows that everyone else struggles with bronze items. He'll already have silver gear. So with arrogance, he can't wait to jump into the game and start hunting monsters to get upgraded items. But he knows he has to be careful with his 24-hour ability. First, he has to find something with the potential to evolve. Once all preparations are done, he clicks the system and the game's entrance appears. He can barely contain his excitement and says that it's time to change his fate. At the beginner's village, Zhao notices that there are already so many rich players here. He thought he'd be one of the first, but a crowd is already hunting chickens, leveling up as fast as they can. The starting village has turned into a chaotic race for nothing, and to Zhao it's absurd. Fighting over weak monsters is pointless, and he needs something that actually matters, like killing the newbie boss to claim the first kill reward. The system warns him to be careful in the wild zones, but he waves it off. The only way to level up fast is to take on dangerous creatures before anyone else. He opens his inventory and frowns because he only had noob items, and these starter bow and cloth armor won't be useful to him at all, besides they aren't even worth upgrading. He needs an advantage, and then he remembers his new talent, which can evolve talents too. He raises his hands and activates it on himself. Energy flows through him, and a king elf appears above his head, meaning that the evolution is a success, upgrading him to a roy elf. His speed and accuracy increase, and he gains a critical hit every 3 strikes. Seeing his HP bar grow, he knows it was worth it. With these attributes, soloing the game won't be hard at all. A howl nearby catches his attention. Looking around, he sees a level 2 forest wolf. Other adventurers are already hunting, shouting that it won't escape. Everyone is eager to level up fast. Our hero hides behind a tree, observing them carefully. These players are smart. They know that forming groups and hunting stronger monsters is the fastest way to gain experience. The problem is, they don't fully understand how realistic the game really is. Then a mage in the group notices movement behind them and calls out a warning. Wolves hunt in packs, and the adventurers are suddenly surrounded. The monsters leap at them, and panic spreads quickly. The bites hurt far more than anyone expected. The group realizes they shouldn't have gone this deep into the forest. One of them screams as he is bitten and warns he'll see the others at respawn. In seconds, all of them fall. Zhao seizes the opportunity. While they are distracted and hunted, he takes aim from behind a tree. His arrows fly through 2, piercing the wolf's head. His first kill is his first level up, from 1 to 2. He gains experience for his elven bloodline, 5 attribute points, and wolf meat. For a solo player, items that restore health are perfect. 3 more wolves notice him and move in. Testing his damage, Zhao feels confident. He turns on his elven passive, doubling his movement speed. He sprints, leaping from ledge to ledge along the mountain, leaving the wolves isolated. The combination of Roy Elf and Ranger class is perfect. He glances back and mutters that they don't stand a chance. Then he notices something strange. The wolves stop moving and just stare. A system alert flashes. He has entered the buffalo zone. The wolves retreat. The creatures here are level 5. Someone calls out, calling him handsome. Turning, he sees a group inviting him to join them. They look suspicious, and he doesn't trust them, especially since they keep calling him handsome. They want him to help hunt buffalo and level faster. The mage in the group points out that our hero is only level 2 and would slow them down. Confused and a little annoyed, Zhao is dismissed without a chance to respond. He turns and wishes them luck, heading his own way. The group warns him that the next area is even more dangerous and risky, even for 4 people. One explains the death penalty. Our hero admits he's new and has never died, so he has no idea. They explain that dying costs half your gold, damages your equipment, and halves your earned experience. Zhao shrugs, barely impressed, and thanks them anyway. He waves goodbye and keeps moving. The girl in the group suggests helping him since it's dangerous alone, but the mage says if he wants to die, it's on him. Some time passes and our hero enters a cave and finds skeletons on the ground. This is exactly the place he was looking for. Suddenly the skull starts shaking and a creature opens its eyes. It is enormous, but our boy stands face to face with the level 10 giant king snake and activates the ability to detect weaknesses. A weak point marker appears on the giant snake's back of the neck. Normally he should only have around 200 HP, but he has an extra 1000 HP because of his Roy Elf passive. With this, he is not afraid to face the boss. Bow in hand, he locks eyes with the monster. It lunges forward to bite him. As fast as it is, he is just as quick. He dodges to the side and draws his bow. The first arrow hits the mark but deals only 29 damage and is far less than he expected. I mean, a boss is still a boss. Xiaozhou dodges again and is grateful that at least his speed is enough to avoid damage. The monster is strong, but it is slow enough that he can chip away at its health, so our hero aims another shot at its neck, but the monster blocks it with its tail, and he realizes that it's smarter than he had thought. Now it guards the only weak point where he can deal real damage. He decides to rely on speed and fires a volley of arrows. The monster keeps defending and he deals 0 damage. He waits for another opening and finally lands a shot for 58 damage. It will take longer than he hoped, but he is definitely faster than the monster. Suddenly he notices something strange. The boss inhales deeply and fills the cave with smoke. The poison drains 10 HP each second. He does the math and realizes he does not have much time left in this place. The snake climbs to the top of the cave, which makes it even harder to land shots. But for Xiaozhou, that is not enough to stop him. He draws another arrow and mutters that he is being underestimated. This time his shot deals 116 damage straight to the neck. This kid has some serious luck. The monster falls to the ground and takes bonus damage because every third hit is a critical strike. He smirks and asks the boss how many more hits it can handle. The snake begins to sweat as it realizes this fight will not be easy. Soon the monster is down to 597 HP and Xiaozhou feels confident. Even while losing 10 HP per second, he is sure he will win. His own HP drops to 1010. The problem is that the snake makes things harder. As he stands still, he is forced to dodge several tail attacks. Once the boss realizes its attacks can be avoided, it begins striking more aggressively to stop him from attacking. He dodges again and thinks that while the snake is smart, it still underestimates his speed. Another arrow flies to the neck and deals 200 critical damage. Then he notices something strange. The damage on the belly looks higher even though the neck is the weak point for an instant kill. For a moment he thinks that if that is true, the snake will die even faster. But the monster seems to smile at him. The snake strikes the ground and a crack rushes toward him. The terrain becomes unstable and he loses track of the boss. He drops to his knees as the poison shifts and now drains 20 HP per second. He is left with only 600 HP. This is clearly a boss meant for a full party of players. With poison damage and the climbing difficulty, he cannot survive like this. He pulls wolf meat from his inventory and says he will need to spend more than he planned. The meat restores 20 HP each second for 20 seconds. It is not enough, but it buys him time to climb to the top. The next 20 seconds will decide everything. He begins a frantic climb. He jumps from ledge to ledge and works his way up. He finally reaches a higher position above the boss. He draws an arrow and lands a clean shot. The snake looks furious as if it never expected him to survive. The arrow hits the boss in the eye. It thrashes and collapses to the ground. Our hero sees the snake trying to escape, but he takes advantage of its exposed back and lands another shot on the spot at the nape of its neck. The monster turns in terror and sees him preparing another elven arrow. The poor boss trembles as Shen fires again and again. A final arrow pierces through its body and bursts out of its mouth. The monster drops to 0 HP. The poison fades. The system announces that his achievement will be broadcast to the entire server and asks if he wants to hide his name. Xiaozhou thinks for a moment and decides he has been hiding long enough. He tells the system to send the announcement. The entire server congratulates player Xiaozhou for being the first to defeat the starter zone boss. Players in the beginner village are confused and try to understand how he did it when the game just launched. Other groups blame themselves for being slow. Experienced players cannot understand how anyone could defeat a boss several levels higher. The blue-haired group is exhausted. They only managed to kill one buffalo and are convinced it was a super boss. The chubby guy is excited to see what the first kill reward is. The other two guys blush as they talk about getting stronger so they can impress the ladies. They wait for praise from their beautiful teammate. Then the system message appears. It announces that Xiaozhou has earned 1,000 reputation points and a silver chest. The group cannot believe someone is actually stronger than them. Our hero gains extra experience and jumps from level 2 to level 7. He gains 30 attribute points and puts all of them into agility. For a class like his, agility boosts speed and damage, so it makes sense. With his attributes set, it is time to see what the boss dropped. Something odd happens. The 10 silvers the boss was supposed to drop turned into 10 gold coins. Meanwhile, other players kill a buffalo and only get a copper coin. One item glows brightly in his inventory, and he notices it has a golden shine. Maybe the second evolution triggered. But what our hero does not expect is that he gets a crystal coin, which is actually a rare currency that has become extinct. He can purchase special and unknown items from NPCs with this crystal, and he can also increase their favorability if he gives it to them. Xiaozhou thinks this is quite an accomplishment because he has heard about it in his previous life but has never actually seen it. He knows it is extremely precious and can become useful in the future. He then picks up all the dropped loot and opens his backpack to put everything inside. Good for him because he actually gets a silver snake one-handed sword with plenty of attack power. He feels a little disappointed because it is not a bow, so it is basically useless to him. He thinks at least he can sell it for money and earn a decent amount. He then looks for the next item and his eyes instantly start to shine with greed. It is Azure Scale Armor Silver level, which has a special effect that allows it to scale a shield and grant a 300-point shield at the start of a battle when its 300-second cooldown resets. In his previous life, he remembers that the normal quality Azure Scale Armor does not have any special effects, just a few attribute points. The silver level one has a shield effect and that makes it rare. The worst part is that it requires level 10 to use, and he is not level 10 right now. He thinks it is basically the same as not getting a real upgrade after beating a boss, so he feels disappointed in the gaming rules. He then remembers that the system notification also sent him a silver treasure chest, and when he opens it, he quietly prays for good luck, so he will not get any mediocre loot again. There is a sudden explosion from the chest, and our hero receives 7 charge chain arrows, legendary level. It consumes 50 magic points and shoots 7 arrows continuously at the target, and each arrow deals equal damage to 1% of the target's maximum health. It is not just a good skill, it is godly level, an exclusive skill that is only given to some archers. But like always, Zhao cannot get everything without any setbacks, and this skill can also be used only at level 10. He tries to see things from an optimistic angle, so once he reaches level 10, his damage will increase a lot, and this gives him another push to level up quickly. Suddenly there is a voice coming from inside the cave, and when he tiptoes in, he sees a beautiful woman who is slightly injured, asking for help because she hid there to avoid the giant snake. Her name is Lady Gu, and she is an NPC who is rumored to give players hidden quests. Our hero tells her that the giant snake is no longer alive, all thanks to him, but Lady Gu tries to charm him, showing him her long splintered legs, saying they are broken, and it would be great if he can carry her outside. Like any other noob around girls, Zhao starts to blush. He picks her up and takes her outside, and Lady Gu tries to flirt with him, caressing his cheek, saying that if it was not for him, she would have died, and she promises that the next time they meet, she is going to take good care of him, if he knows what she means. This catches Zhao attention, and he snaps out of the trap and immediately drops her on the ground. Gu explains that she does not have anything else to repay him with except her body, so she plans to do what she is very good at. Our hero looks at her with clear disbelief, as if something is seriously wrong, and asks her to stop talking because she is embarrassing herself, and he does not want that to happen. Then suddenly Gu starts to giggle, and she takes out a black moonblade drawn sword from her chest, saying that he passed the test and saw through it right away. But Zhao flicks it away again, to Gu's annoyance and shock. He turns to her and asks her to give him the hidden clasp. Gu tries to pull on his sleeve, saying she does not know anything about it, but Zhao stands up, and like a true villain, he tells her that she has left him with no choice except to look for her little 14-year-old daughter who lives nearby. Gu is horrified that he knows about her secret daughter, so she gives in and promises that she will help him unlock the hidden clasp. Instantly, she starts to dance like a ballet dancer, and she looks absolutely beautiful. Suddenly, a portal opens beneath our hero's feet, and everything seems to go according to his plan. Lady Gu explains that the portal leads to the hidden class trial, and as long as he passes it, he will get the hidden class. Our hero starts to smile, thanking her because everything seems to go according to his plan, but Gu tells him to calm down and not get so ecstatic. That is when he gets a system notification, and he is immediately horrified because the Shadowhunter trial he is about to enter is a difficult level, and failure means permanent disqualification. This means he has only one chance to either complete the trial or die. He tries to get out and begs her to stop because he is only level 7 and cannot risk dying in the game, but his leg is stuck again and he cannot move. Gu smiles at him with a bold, creepy grin and tells him that this is the end for him because he dared to look back and look at her daughter with bad intentions. He then realizes that her favorability has dropped to 0. He thinks about the fact that he could only stop the portal from opening by increasing her favorability, but it is already too late, and the portal is fully open with no way out. He gets pulled inside. As he sinks into the circle, he swears that when he gets out of the mission, he is going to find her and her daughter and kill them both. But before he can finish the sentence, he disappears into the portal as if he is drowning in quicksand. Gu watches the spot where he vanishes and thinks he is done for. Suddenly he emerges from the sky, and as he stands in an endless desert, he has no idea where he is. The system appears and announces that the test has begun. Since this is his only chance, he has to give everything he has. Suddenly he sees that something is poking out of the sand, but before he has any chance to register what it is, claws shoot out from all around him. He realizes he is actually inside a trap. He decides to jump at the very last second when a sandworm is about to eat him, and he wonders if this giant creature is even a normal trial enemy because it looks far stronger than one. He uses his weakness detection to see what weakness it has, and he learns that it is a ground sandworm, elite level 5. Its attack power is 45, its defense is 30, and its health point is 2000, and its weakness is its mouth. He then uses his arrow and shoots right inside its mouth, knowing that this is not his full strength, but he wants to test it for now. He finally lies back on the ground and thinks that these worms are always clumsy when they come out of the ground, and he only needs to be smart about how he handles them. Suddenly the worm erupts once again, and he waits for it to charge straight at him. He dodges at the last second and realizes that the impact is so strong that if he had taken the hit, he would have died. But then he notices that the sandworm does not attack again and instead dives down, and he realizes it is about to emerge again. He looks around, and when he sees a small bump in the sand, he knows the sandworm is about to come out right beneath him. It becomes a real nuisance because it is hard to track its movement from the surface. It is also very agile underground, and when it appears he has less than a second to react. He worries that he will not be able to dodge every attack, so he decides he needs to find a hard place to stand on to limit the area where he can get pushed. He looks around and sees a giant pillar a few feet away, and he rushes toward his sanctuary. But just as he is about to reach it, he notices another spike rising from the ground, and he dodges again. When the sandworm appears, he gives it a couple of blows, and his experience increases a little. That is when Zhaoju realizes that as long as he keeps dodging every attack, it is actually easy to kill this beast. But suddenly, he fails to notice that the sandworm uses its skill sand spit and throws it at our hero. The poor boy has no time to react or cover his eyes, and his health drops a bit. The sand spit has a blinding effect that reduces his vision by 50% and lasts around 10 seconds. And seeing how crucial everything is, this becomes a serious blow to Zhaoju and his attacking power. He almost cannot believe that the sandworms would use such a trick, and seeing how the blinding effect is so strong that he cannot even see his own hand, he starts to get irritated and panics because he knows he needs to reach the stone pillar quickly, or he will be in serious danger. He notices the sandworm attacking again, and he rushes to dodge it so he can get protection. Soon enough, he reaches the pillar completely and sees that the sandworm has almost gone underground again. He then realizes that this fight needs to end soon because he is still annoyed about the sand in his eyes. He remembers that during his previous attacks with arrows, he did not miss the 2 strikes that were sneak attacks from below, and he can tell that the blinding buff is about to expire. When it fades, he can see clearly again. He notices that the worm's attacks are very monotonous, and once he figures out the pattern, dealing with it becomes as easy as playing with a monkey. He prepares his bow for a counterattack. He calls out to the sandworm, and soon he senses the vibrations under the ground. The giant worm bursts from the earth and he dodges it easily. Before it can use sand spit again, he changes direction and ducks behind the pillar to use it as protection. He shoots an arrow straight into the middle of the sandworm's mouth, causing it to lose a good chunk of experience points. But he notices it is no longer attacking him directly because it wants to drag out the fight. Soon enough, it charges again, and he throws arrows one after another until he lands the final strike and the sandworm dies. His level rises to level 8 and he receives 10 copper coins, which evolve into silver coins. He also gets sand boots, which are drawn quality items that help him move faster in sandy environments, but he is not happy about it at all. He thinks the loot is trash because he just killed a monster that big, and even though he earned decent experience points, he still did not get the kind of silver level loot he wanted. Then he notices that one of the signs on the pillar starts to glow, and he realizes that there are 8 identical words, but only one is glowing, which means many more sandworms are coming. Soon enough, sandworms appear around him and they all start to attack one after another, and he knows he has to kill every one of them to clear this level. He jumps on top of the pillar and realizes that this place is great for leveling up, but right now it is not safe for him to stand on the ground because every step could bring 7 giant worms charging at him from all directions, and he cannot handle all of them without taking heavy damage. He thinks about a plan where he can create vibrations on the ground from a safe distance so the worms will erupt and he can attack them. He remembers this and opens his inventory and takes out copper coins. He then takes silver coins, which are too light, and throws them on the ground. Soon enough, the giant sandworm erupts from the spot and he uses his bow to shoot it, but because of the angle, it is almost impossible to hit its weak spot. Its defense is already too high, so each hit only deals about 35 points of damage, which is far too low. But the good thing is that he has money and all the time in the world, and he plans to end every worm here so he can win this. 4 hours later, the dreaded battle finally ends, and our hero lets out a sigh of relief. He is clearly exhausted from killing all these worms. He looks over at the corpses, feeling proud of what he has accomplished. After all, he has reached level 10, gained 15 attribute points, and his mana has increased by 30 points. He never fully realized he had hit level 10, but all thanks to these giant worms that gave him so much experience. He thinks about his attribute points and pulls up his personal details. His current HP is almost 2,000, and he realizes he doesn't have much chance of getting good drops because his luck level is currently 0. He assigns all the attribute points to luck, raising it to 15. Since luck affects hit rate and evasion, those stats also increase. His passive evolution activates, and he realizes he should have put all his attribute points into luck earlier, because it is already proving useful. He uses his passive evolution to attack one of the corpses, and watching it completely annihilate the body fascinates him. In his previous life, he never had money to spend on upgrades. His damage and health were low, and to survive he had to invest all attribute points into attack and health, which made him miss out on many other advantages. Then he remembers the purple light coming from the corpse, which signals a legendary drop. He gets excited, thinking it is finally his turn to get something good. But when he sees the sand escape, a legendary level item that allows free movement through sand and concealment, but only works in desert terrain, his excitement fades. He thinks it is unimpressive for a legendary item, but he keeps it anyway, knowing it might be useful for survival or surprise attacks in the future. He learns it by spending 10 silver points. He also remembers that, since he is now level 10, he can use the skill from the silver chest, the 7-star arrow, and he spends another 20 silver points to learn it. He sees that the blue armor he received earlier can now be equipped, and soon his body gets a significant boost, which he loves. It also increases his aura points, which is good for fashion. He knows for a fact that he should be the highest level player on the server, and he gets incredibly cocky about it. But then he notices the pillar. All the words on the tower are lit up, all the monsters are defeated, and he has picked up all the loot, yet nothing is happening. He expected a big explosion or some alien-like monster emerging from the tower, and he starts to wonder why it isn't triggering anything. Suddenly, as if on cue, the ground starts shaking, and he feels a little scared from the earthquake. As expected, like in an anime, a giant temple rises from the ground. He starts walking toward it, realizing that the real reward must be inside. He feels excited because this is the perfect chance to test out his new skills. But then he suddenly hears his little sister's voice from above, calling him to eat. She has apparently made his favorite food and is waiting for him. In real life, he scolds his little sister to climb out of the board or she might hurt herself. At the same time, a game alert pops up, showing that someone is calling him and asking if he wants to exit. He refuses, knowing that leaving before clearing the level will permanently prevent him from obtaining the hidden profession. He has no choice but to stay in the game, even if it hurts his little sister's feelings. Xiaotong tries to argue weakly that it has already been 8 hours since he started playing, and that since he is in a recovery stage, he needs to rest. But Zhao Zhou is stubborn and scolds her until she storms away, clearly angry. She is hurt, thinking about how her brother has changed and why he is so angry. Inside the game, our hero feels bad for speaking to his sister like that, but he knows he has to sacrifice something to get stronger. He uses his Phantom Hunter skill to survey the temple and see what he is dealing with. When he goes inside, a system notification warns that the area is extremely dangerous and he needs to be cautious. He realizes that he has entered the boss's room. Suddenly a giant monster appears in front of him, and he notices with some irony that it is a crab. Crabs are not supposed to be in the desert. It is a gold-level boss called the Sand King, level 15, and it has a special ability called Sandstorm. He uses his weakness detection skill and finds that the boss's defense and health are ridiculously high. Even with his detection device, he cannot find a weakness, and realizes that this is the first time he truly needs to fight a monster clueless. Before he can even process the threat, the boss is already attacking. Zhao Zhou dodges, thinking that since the creature is so big, its speed can't be that high. But the shockwave from the attack still throws him into the cave wall, dealing 100 damage. He is stunned because the hit wasn't even direct, yet it caused so much harm, and he hadn't anticipated it. He thanks his lucky charm for the 300-point shield provided by the new armor he equipped, because if the hit had landed on his head, the pain would be like getting hit by a truck, and he would have been severely compromised in the fight. He notices the giant hole caused by the crab's attack and realizes he is now facing a gold-level boss, not some weak sandworms. He takes out his bow and arrow, knowing he has no choice but to fight, and fires an arrow, only causing 1 point of damage. This almost freaks him out because that was supposed to do some damage, but 1 is far too low. The boss attacks again, and he has no option but to dodge the attack and the shockwave as well. His attacks aren't doing much, so he needs to use his speed to his advantage and run, or he will get hit by another shockwave. Then he notices the crab preparing to attack him for the second time, and he realizes he is trapped with nowhere to dodge. The crab strikes the ground, and when it lifts its antenna, our hero only sees an empty hole. The almighty Zhao Zhou clings to the crab's claw for safety, but the crab notices and throws him into the sky, opening its mouth and waiting to swallow him. At the last moment, Zhao Zhou takes out his 7 linked arrows and shoots them straight into its mouth. The attack causes a lot of damage, almost 1,000, and in one burst reduces its health from 6,000 to 5,100, which is huge. Because the attack was higher than its normal damage threshold, every subsequent hit will deal more damage. The crab instantly becomes furious and retaliates, striking our hero. His shield deactivates, and he realizes he is facing a gold-level boss. Without his protective shield, he is in serious danger. He realizes that he cannot keep taking hits like this and needs to change his approach. He climbs up the boss's arm toward its head and tries to unleash another 7-star arrow from above. But when he fires, nothing happens, and he quickly realizes that he is out of mana at the worst possible moment. The 7-star arrow is incredibly strong, and his manacap is not enough for 2 shots at once. He does a quick mental calculation and realizes that he will need at least 4 minutes to recover before he can use it again. The crab starts lifting up and jumping, and Zhaozhou realizes that it is about to crush him. He is forced to retreat and drops back onto the ground. He thinks that if he really wants to strike it or crush it with the ceiling, he will need to speed up. But when he looks up, he realizes that his detection skill is now working, and it has found the weakness: its abdomen. He understands that his detection skill was never wrong, it just could not detect it earlier because it was hidden beneath the crab's giant body. The system warns that the boss is about to release its ultimate skill, and if our hero gets caught in it, he will take 100 damage per second. He does not know exactly what kind of ultimate skill is coming, but suddenly tornadoes appear all around him. He is stunned, confused, and a little scared. High damage is one thing, but sustaining it over time is another. He tries to run, but he cannot move because the wind pressure is too strong. He has no control over any skills or effects and nowhere to hide. Every second, 100 experience points are drained, and Zhaozhou realizes that this tornado might really be the end of him. Zhaozhou knows that if he gets caught in this, it could be fatal, or at least cause serious injury. He fires an arrow that lands for 260 damage, which is impressive considering he just eyeballed it. He curses the monster for looking so relaxed while he struggles to survive, but the boss glares at him as the tornadoes close in, and his health keeps dropping. A few minutes later, everything suddenly stops, and seeing no trace of our hero, the boss grows confused. It seems like he has managed, but in truth, he used his sand escape skill to slip underground at the last moment. When the boss drops its guard, our hero bursts out of the sand and fires an arrow straight into its abdomen, causing massive pain. The boss activates the storm again, but this time our hero is confident and unafraid. He activates sand escape again, diving straight into the ground, and emerges from the other side to fire a few more shots, reducing the boss's health by around 500. The boss, desperate, dives back underground to attack, and Zhaozhou mocks it, disappearing underground once more to reappear on the other side. The best part of this skill is that it consumes no mana, has no cooldown, and is truly legendary. Our hero begins to realize just how important it is. He repeats this move again and again, provoking the crab and wearing it down. After hours of this, the crab weakly calls our hero a jerk, though our hero realizes it can actually speak. 3 hours later, our hero is tired from the long battle, but when he notices that he can now use his 7-star arrows, he knows the fight is about to end. He mocks the crab, which now only has around 1100 health left. The crab weakly admits defeat, saying it gives up. The slow grinding battle has exhausted it, and Zhaozhou agrees with its surrender. He fires the 7-star arrow, finishing off the Sand King and leveling up by 3 levels. From now on, leveling in the game will be increasingly difficult, but gaining around 13 levels in a single day is impressive, and he is the first to ever achieve it. A notification appears, granting him the option to change to the hidden class Phantom Hunter. Zhaozhou laughs at the system, knowing he earned it through sheer effort. A shiny aura rises around him as an elf spirit appears and transforms before his eyes. His class changes to Phantom Hunter, giving him 200 additional XP. Another notification explains that as a Phantom Hunter, every level up now grants 7 attribute points for free allocation instead of 5. Our hero is satisfied because gaining 2 extra attribute points per level is incredibly powerful. He also receives new skills. Phantom Summon allows him to summon a phantom to fight for 30 seconds, and the phantom inherits all his attack effects and can cast skills simultaneously. Death Trap lets him place invisible traps on the ground, and targets within them take 100% increased damage. On the surface, these 2 skills seem average, but Zhaozhou knows their potential if leveled up. Combining the 100% damage boost from Death Trap with the Phantom's attacks can even result in an instant kill. He begins to think about the possibilities once he evolves the Phantom, but then he notices that his active evolution skill now has a 5-hour cooldown. Our hero feels a little sad thinking about that, but luckily his passive evolution activates. He invests the luck points and realizes that putting them into luck was the right choice. Using his passive evolution, he attacks the crab's corpse with incredible power to collect the loot. He examines it carefully and sets a goal for himself. He needs to earn 1 billion gold and see what other loot has been stolen. For now, he stores all the loot safely in his inventory. This time, Zhaozhou is finally happy with his loot because he has got an armor-piercing bow, which is actually silver-tiered, and each attack from it reduces the opponent's defense by 5 points and can stack its support ability up to 5 times. He rejoices because this is finally a decent bow and perfect for dealing with high defense monsters, and he equips it right away. He also gets other items such as steel gauntlets, again silver-tiered, which speed up arrow loading in the bow. He also gets a golden great sword, silver-tiered, which releases golden sword energy with each swing and deals 30% of his attack power. However, he cannot equip it and thinks about selling it or giving it to someone later on. Apart from that, he gets a life amulet, silver tiered, which increases his defense and restores 10 HP per second when he is out of combat, and he immediately equips it. He has 21 unallocated attribute points and adds all of them into agility. Overall, after all the updates, his system looks pretty good, but then he gets a notification that he has been playing for over 15 hours and will have to be forcibly logged out. He cannot believe that it has been so long and he wants to resist, but the system forces him to log off because he is practically an addict at this point. He wakes up back in the real world, screaming that he still wants to grind, but then he notices that he is in a gaming pod in a ridiculously sterile hotel or hospital room. He realizes how embarrassing his screaming was. System logouts are a part of the anti-addiction system, but he cannot believe that an adult like him still qualifies for that. Apart from this, everything in the game is going smoothly, and at this rate he is going to make sure that his enemies and the snakes around him, leeching off him, will soon pay a heavy price. Our hero notices that his sister is now lying on the bed, asleep, and he cannot believe that she actually came to his hospital room and waited for him. She had brought the porridge, and he thinks that the smell and texture are surprisingly good. Apparently, Xiao Tong has always been pampered like a princess since childhood and has never lifted a finger, but now that he is sick, she must have endured a lot in the kitchen to take care of him. He is touched by her act of love and takes a fond bite of the porridge, but then he realizes that while his sister might be good-looking, she is not exactly a good cook because the taste is absolutely abysmal. His gagging wakes Xiao Tong, and she greets him, thinking that he finally stopped playing and decided to spend some time with her. She hates seeing his embarrassment and disgust, but noticing that he is eating the porridge she made with so much care, she jumps up excitedly and asks how it tastes. Zhao Zhou, thinking of the situation, decides to play along and says it is quite delicious. Xiao Tong cannot believe it and begs him to finish it, happy that he loves her cooking. But our hero, who just fought multiple high-level monsters, thinks to himself that this might be the hardest trial he has ever faced in life. The bowl in front of him is nothing less than a poisonous soup, yet he has no choice but to eat. The next day, his body has completely given up due to the bad porridge. Soon, a sexy nurse walks in and sits uncomfortably close to him, saying that last night he ate something bad and spent the whole night vomiting and having diarrhea. Her intentions are far from pure. She is a Class A gold digger, thinking that he is a young, rich, handsome man, and since he is currently weak, his confidence is low, making him an easy target. She wants to secure this prize for a luxurious life. Zhao Zhou, oblivious to her charm, ignores her, thinking that he is simply too tired from gaming. The nurse becomes overly friendly, caressing his hand and saying that if he needs anything, she will do it for him. This gives Zhao Zhou an idea, and he asks her to push his wheelchair to the gaming pod. The nurse cannot believe that the rich CEO did not fall for her charm. She wonders if her makeup was insufficient, but she does as he asks, and soon Zhao Zhou is back in the game, able to move freely. As he walks, he notices that there are currently 300,000 online players, knowing that more people are joining through cheaper VR devices. In a month, the global player base will exceed 100 million, so he needs to level up fast to take his revenge. He opens his equipment panel and sees that he is missing top-tier gear, so he either needs to find bosses above level 20 to get it or buy it from a shop. Soon he visits an inventory shop. The shopkeeper salivates at the sight of our hero's silver armor, assuming he is rich, and treats him kindly. Our hero, however, is unimpressed, thinking that the items are all bronze junk. To beat gold-tier bosses, he needs better gold-tier equipment, likely hidden by the shopkeeper. He directly asks him to show the treasure items, but the shopkeeper feigns innocence and says he does not understand what our hero is talking about. The shopkeeper tries to argue, saying that the items displayed are the only ones he has, and since Zhao Zhou is a fancy lord, he can give him a discount. But as for the shop treasure, he claims there is no such thing, and even if there were, our hero wouldn't be able to afford it. Zhao Zhou smirks, takes out a precious gem, and the shopkeeper instantly backtracks, realizing that he failed to recognize such a rich customer. Our hero notices that his favorability with the shopkeeper increases by 70%, and in the next second, a secret door unlocks. They both step inside. The shopkeeper shows items that were supposed to be sold 30 days after the server opened, but since Zhao Zhou is already here, he can pick one. There are many items on display, but our hero is unimpressed. He thinks everything is just silver-tier trash, and the shopkeeper even seems a little offended. That's when Zhao Zhou notices something, and like a magnet, he is drawn toward it. It's a dangerous-looking mask. He asks the shopkeeper for it. The shopkeeper explains that it is the only golden mask in the entire game since the server opened. It was originally supposed to sell for 200,000 gold coins starting next month, but because our hero gave him the crystal stone, he will give it at a discount of 150,000 gold coins. The shopkeeper goes on, saying that an average player would need an entire year to gather that much money. While he is still yapping, Zhao Zhou transfers all the money instantly, ignoring the discount since he doesn't need it. He tells the shopkeeper that next time he has something valuable, he must notify our hero first. That's how the shopkeeper becomes a loyal worker for him. Walking out of the shop, our hero calculates that the amount he just spent equals around 2 million in cash, but for a unique headgear, it is definitely not expensive and a good deal. He activates the mask and displays it for everyone. In the settings, he notices that he can choose what to display and what not to display about himself. The mask is the White Tiger mask. It grants 50 extra strength and has a special effect that terrifies monsters and players lower level than him. Walking into the village, everyone stares at him in astonishment, unable to hide their shock. However, not everyone is impressed, because some players feel jealous when they see someone already wearing a gold grade item. They all convince themselves that there must be a cheater among them, since there is no way gold-level equipment can appear in the official stores yet, so the only conclusion they reach is cheating. Just then, someone stops Zhao, and when he turns around, he notices a party of roughed-up players. They ask him, not very politely, to hand over his gear because it looks nice. Our hero cannot believe they have the audacity to even ask for it and wonders why on earth he would ever do that. But the thugs feel overly confident in themselves. They claim that the only reason he has such high-quality equipment is because he used some kind of cheat or hack. So if he does not want to get banned from the game, he should give them everything and let them walk away. Zhao almost laughs because they are clearly trying to rob him. Meanwhile, more people start to gather around them and watch the argument, thinking that he might finally be in trouble, and many of them are clearly jealous. Soon a crowd forms, and the thugs know they can use it to their advantage. One of them starts chanting that they need to teach the hacker a lesson. Our hero stands still and watches as the people around him cheer for the thugs to hit him and take all his gear. The party leader demands again that he hand over his items, or else the three of them will kill him and send him back to the respawn point, and every time he comes out, they will take him down again. But this time Zhao is not here to negotiate. He is here to kill. He takes out his detection point and thinks about how there are always fools in the world who will believe anything they hear. But the truth is that strong people like him should teach fools like these a lesson. One of them is a warrior at level 4, another is an assassin at level 5, and the last one is an archer at level 5. With that, he tells all three of them to come at him at once, and they charge at him together, thinking that our hero is just an arrogant fool. But Zhao is no ordinary person. The mask releases the leopard spirit, and all three of them fall back onto the ground, terrified and hurt, all thanks to the gold tier effect. Everyone around them cannot believe what they are seeing, because the fight ends in an instant. Our hero walks up to the gang leader and says that his ID is Morning Wine Evening Song, and he is welcome to come kill him any time if he even dares. One of the bystanders suddenly remembers that name and says that he has seen it somewhere before. With that, he opens the leaderboard rankings and notices that our hero is currently the #1 player in the entire world, and they all just tried to pick a fight with that man. All of the players cannot believe that he is a first-rank legend, and they switch up real fast and start cheering for him to the point that even the gang leader seethes that he just got beaten up by the #1 warrior in the world. But Zhao does not enjoy all the praise and instead focuses on the mission he has in mind. Apparently there is one thing he needs to do before he goes back to hunting monsters. So he walks over and sees a little girl playing with a frog, and he smirks right away as if he already knows her secret. He goes up to her and asks if she knows Lady Gu, but the little girl, who acts like a brat, immediately asks why he is calling her a little girl when there is barely any age difference between them. This makes our hero confirm that she is exactly the person he is looking for. He crouches in front of her and asks if she is Gu's daughter Gu Linger. Linger cannot understand how a complete stranger knows her name and the secret that she is Gu's daughter. But Zhao is in the mood to tease her a little, so he casually lies that her mother promised that the two of them would get married in 5 years. Hearing this, poor Linger starts to stutter and runs off to find her mother, shouting like any terrified child would. Hearing her cries, Gu rushes out of the house and hugs Linger, clearly confused by what she is saying. That is when our hero steps out of the shadows and introduces himself, and Gu cannot believe that he actually passed the heart difficulty trial. But of course it feels obvious for someone like Zhao, and he reminds her that he promised that once he came out, he would come find Gu's daughter. Since he is a man of his word, he is here to do the mission. Gu protectively asks what he wants because if he tries anything improper, she will move out. This catches our hero a little off guard because he actually scared an NPC enough to think about moving, and he must be the first player to ever do that. So he steps back a little and says that she does not need to be nervous. He only wants her to give him the map of the intermediate dungeon, but Gu calmly tells him that she has no such thing. Zhaoju's body instantly starts to shake and Gu prepares herself for an attack, thinking that this might be the end of them, but she waits for the punch and nothing comes. Instead, our hero hands her the crystal. With a warm smile, almost like he is Santa Claus giving away cookies, he says that this is to thank her for letting him take the hidden class trial before. Seeing that crystal, her favorability increases by 50% and both her and her daughter's eyes start to gleam. She practically begins to drool when she looks at it, but Linger, who is a little brat yet still a cute little munchkin, grabs it from her mother's hand because she thinks it is very pretty. Gu runs after her and the two of them start to bicker. That is when Linger blurts out that this might be the token of their engagement that is supposed to happen in 5 years. Our hero realizes that he might have messed up lying to the girl like that because she has no filter and no critical sense in thinking, so she believes the lie completely. He continues the act, saying that all she has to do now is make sure her mother gives him the map first. After that, he will marry her in due time. Gu finally gives in and says that according to the rules, the intermediate map can only be handed over after 20 days since the server opened, but since she accepted his gem, she will tell him the secret. The system gives the village chief permission to hand out the map to a player who likes challenges. Without missing a beat, Linger claims that she knows exactly where the village chief's house is, and she will take him there. A few minutes later, they arrive at the chief's house where the chief is napping in the sun, thinking that her life cannot get any better. However, she notices something rushing toward her, and before she can react, Linger jumps on her, causing her to lose her balance and get squished under her weight. She does not really mind and simply asks who is looking for her, and that is when our hero appears, saying that he is going to talk straight to the point. He just needs the map, and then he will be on his way. The chief reminds him that he is only level 13 right now, and she tells him to come back when he reaches level 20. But like always, he tries to give a bribe and hands over another stone. Instead of getting excited, the chief laughs at him and asks if he even knows why she became the chief. She became the chief because she has enough pride and honor for her character, and she does not take bribes from arrogant men like him. Even then, she still picks up the gem, and Linger slyly says that if the chief does not want it, she can just hand it back to our hero. With that, the chief tosses it toward him. Our hero smiles, thinking that the girl is not so annoying after all, but the chief argues back, saying that since he is only level 13, she does not understand how he is leveling so fast. The truth is that even the bugs in that place are at least level 20, and going there at his current level is basically a death sentence. For the sake of clear experience, she still cannot give the map to him. Our hero insists that he can prove his strength, and they agree to make a deal. First, he needs to complete the task given by the village chief. She explains that every year the village is attacked by a pack of wolves, and sometimes brave warriors come to help fight them, but they never solve the problem fully. That is because there is a leader behind the wolves, the White Wolf King. His mission is to take down the king and bring back its sight. Suddenly, a notification pops up on his screen, and he immediately accepts the mission. He tells the chief to keep the map ready because he will be back soon, but right then, Linger stops him and says she can go with him, and she insists that she can protect him. Zhaozhou asks her to go back to her mommy because he cannot be a babysitter and a warrior at the same time. Linger hears him, but she still argues back, saying that she can genuinely protect him and defeat the White Wolves and protect the village at the same time. But then he notices that the notification is saying that his mission completion condition includes that he must protect Linger as well. So he has no option but to say yes, and even listen to her whine about how he was ready to leave her alone. She keeps crying until he agrees later on in the forest. Linger goes to the exact place which, according to the mission hint, was the last spotting of the White Wolves. She clings to our hero robe because the place looks creepy and cold. Suddenly there is a roar, and they both turn towards the sound. The poor girl is spooked while Zhaozhou thinks that they should go over there, and when they do, they notice that someone is already fighting the wolves. Our hero greets the warrior warmly, asking in which direction the wolf's lair is. Apparently a party is already fighting there, and they consist of an archer, an assassin, a warrior, and a mage, all at different levels. But their leader is not amused at all to have company, and he asks why Zhaozhou wants to know, because the area is already taken by them, and he is not allowed to grind levels over there. Our hero does not know what that even means, but then the leader lifts his arm and shows off the snake tattoo on his skin, saying that they are all part of the Green Snake Gang, and this area is their territory. Zhaozhou is confused, and the team leader explains that the Buffalo area also belongs to their gang. He tells our hero that if he wants to grind levels here, he will have to pay a fee. Otherwise, they will send him back to the beginner village where he can only kill chickens. The leader then notices Linger and points out that she is not a player, but an NPC, and asks if that means they are both on a mission. Zhaozhou immediately protects her, saying that it is none of their business. He also remarks that their grinding method is too inefficient. One of the other players replies that the wolves might provide them some experience. Although the wild wolves are low level, they are still considered safe. Linger suddenly senses danger and warns our hero that something is coming. He sees a dark shadow moving through the forest and quickly grabs Linger, leaping up onto a tree. The party assumes they have scared off Zhaozhou. In reality, our hero thinks all of them are fools because they cannot sense the killing intent of the wolves. Suddenly, a massive wolf looms directly above them. Saliva drips onto one of the girls, and when she looks up, she sees only the open mouth of the great White Wolf King, ready to strike. Before she can react, the wolf swallows her, leaving only her legs visible to her friends. Seeing the Wolf King ready to strike, all the party members start to flee as the beast hunts them one by one. Then, without warning, he vanishes into thin air and launches a sneak attack, hunting them like tiny insects. Blood spills everywhere. What the wolf doesn't realize is that far away, on a tree, Zhao is already watching, studying his attacks and looking for any weakness. The system notification shows the Wolf King is level 20, with a weak point at his abdomen. His health is massive, around 4000 XP, and he has another vulnerability in his eyes, but his skills remain unknown. Our hero notices that the wolf has tricks up his sleeve. That sudden disappearance was impossible for someone with such speed, which means the wolf is hiding his true power. Zhao wants to test him, so he readies his arrow and sword. Linger quickly puts her hand in front of him, stopping him. This catches the wolf's attention, and he spots both of them sitting on the branch. He leaves for now. Our hero jumps down trying to chase the wolf, but Linger stops him again. She explains that the 5 people earlier drew the Wolf King's aggro by killing too many wolves. If our hero attracts its attention now with his current power, he would surely die. They need to be fully prepared before the fight. Our hero is stunned that a minor NPC can have such insight and affection, but he knows she is right. He needs to raise his stats. He asks her how, and she hands him a detailed roadmap showing the Wolf King's lair. Our hero asks why she didn't give it to him earlier. She cheekily replies that now he should never think being with her is a nuisance. Suddenly, the system notifies him that evolution is available. Our hero smirks, thinking it's about time. The gauntlet appears on his arm, and even Linger admires its beauty. Feeling cocky and arrogant, our hero boasts about it and evolves his bloodline again. But suddenly, a notification flashes an error. All of his aura drains into the negative. He has already evolved and cannot evolve again. Embarrassed, he laughs, thinking at least he tried. Our hero realizes that for now, he can only evolve his phantom skill, but he hasn't actually used it yet. He decides it's time to test it and activates the phantom. Instantly, a blue light surrounds him, and a phantom version of his body appears in the sky. It looks like a cool superhero made of water, an impressive reflection of himself. He glances back at Linger, thinking he might actually be able to empower her too, and he's probably right. Then he focuses on testing the Phantom's abilities. He orders it to use the 7-star arrow. As expected, the Phantom performs flawlessly. But before it attacks, he stops it and realizes something even more powerful. The Phantom can also use skills. This sparks a new idea, a devious plan he can use to outsmart the system itself. Zhao orders his Phantom to activate evolution, and with a single command, it begins to transform. Golden energy surges around him, and because the Phantom is part of Zhao, he feels the effects too. The Phantom evolves into a double Phantom, and the notification warns that it cannot evolve any further. Now he can summon 2 Phantoms at once, each inheriting 60% of his attack power for a full minute. Our hero didn't expect it to work, but he's thrilled and a little surprised that it did. Linger interrupts, asking if he's cheating, but our hero laughs, saying even cheating wouldn't be this powerful or clever. The truth is, he's winning purely through his intellect and skill. Linger points out that his current win rate is only 20%, and our hero decides he needs to push that number higher. He evolves the 7-star arrow, upgrading it to 7-star flaming arrows, which shoots 7 consecutive flaming arrows at a single target. Each arrow deals true damage equal to 1% of the enemy's maximum health. Our hero is a little disappointed, thinking it would evolve into 8 arrows, but Linger scolds him for complaining, saying it's already extremely strong. She notes that his win rate has now climbed to 34%. The notification signals that the Phantom cooldown is complete, and even our hero is impressed at how fast it reset. He tries to test the last active evolution, but the notification says it's still on cooldown. He quickly realizes the Phantom inherits the main body's stats and skill cooldowns, so because the main body just used active evolution, the Phantom cannot use it yet. Next time, he needs to upgrade both Phantoms first, before activating to avoid tricky situations against bosses. Our hero tells Linger to come with him, revealing he has a new plan to boost their win rate. She has no idea where they are going, but follows obediently. Soon they reach a river and hunt an advanced crocodile, whose meat restores 200 HP and increases movement speed by 30%. They're thrilled to get such valuable food. Our hero activates the Phantom to help cook, and an hour later, Linger burps happily from the sheer delight of eating the high-grade fish and meat. Zhao isn't surprised because the food is top tier, and both are satisfied with the feast. Zhao puts some of the meat into his inventory to use later. He checks and sees that the efficiency of the 3 Phantoms is incredible, and with all the recovery items, he should have more than enough to handle the wolves. He asks for his win rate, and Linger tells him it's about 40% for now. He gets up, ready to take down the Wolf King, and rushes forward with Linger trailing behind him. What they don't realize is that a few nosy players are following them, watching their every move. At the Wolf King's lair, Zhao thanks Linger for giving him the map. He summons his Phantoms and activates Death Trap. Each Phantom lasts 60 seconds, and the Death Trap has a 30-second cooldown, meaning each Phantom can set 2 traps per summon. That gives him 4 traps in total. He repeats the process over and over until a deadly web spreads across the entrance, but the traps are invisible to anyone else, so only he can see them. Linger thinks it's a bit over the top, but strangely, his win rate hasn't increased. Zhaozhou takes a bite of meat, reminding himself that the Wolf King is fast, so he needs to make sure it has nowhere to escape. Linger reassures him that the plan is fine, but she points out that the win rate still isn't hitting 50%. Zhaozhou smirks, saying he has another trick up his sleeve. He tells her to hide behind a tree while he sets traps around her to keep her safe no matter what appears. No matter what comes out, she must stay put. Then our hero calls out to the White Wolf King, daring it to come out and face him. His words provoke the king, and it peers out of its cave. Zhaozhou stands ready, waiting patiently for it to step into his carefully laid traps. The Wolf King is about to step out of his cave, but then he suddenly smells something, and instead of coming out, he retreats back inside as if he has just remembered he forgot to turn off the stove. This confuses Zhaozhou, who realizes he might have underestimated how alert this beast actually is. Our hero starts shouting, calling him a coward and demanding he come out, trying to provoke the White King again. Linger watches him from behind the tree, thinking that even though he acts cool sometimes, she still wants to see what he can really do if he plans to marry her in the future. But she has no idea that someone's hand is about to clamp over her mouth, muffling her screams. The same guy who had been secretly following our hero and Linger grabs her and kidnaps her. Right then, Zhaozhou gets a system notification that a trap has been triggered. He looks around and sees that none of the Wolf King's traps were touched, which means only one thing. The trap he set around Linger has gone off. For a moment he thinks the Wolf King might have taken her, but when he checks, he spots a bunch of thugs dragging poor Linger away. She struggles and screams at them to let her go. Their boss laughs and calls Linger a wild cat, while his followers groan because the trap is still stuck on one of them. They interrupt their little moment and tell the boss to let the girl go. Linger immediately pipes up, saying that her husband is finally here to beat them up. Even the thug is confused, wondering how a little girl like her can even have a husband. Our hero is pissed because she makes him look bad in front of everyone, but she still does not get the hint and starts to scream and wail. Everyone else laughs at Zhaozhou, thinking he might really be into children, and our hero hates every second of it. The boss asks Zhaozhou if he knows who this land belongs to, and our hero replies that he knows. He is aware that this place belongs to the Green Snake Gang. The boss cannot believe he would still dare to step foot on it. He then asks about his comrades who were ambushed in the area during the day, and asks if Zhaozhou has something to do with them. Our hero replies that it was not him who killed them. Even if they do not believe him, they can wait for the men to revive and ask them themselves. The boss insults him and says he is cowardly, and would not even dare to touch the green snake. Zhaozhou wants to snap back, but he decides to stay low because Linger is still in danger. He lies and says he was only wandering in the woods, but they do not believe him. They think there must be a hidden boss around here, and that our hero came to get information so he can level up. They claim it is better if he gives up the location of the boss, so they can handle the matter themselves. Zhaozhou laughs inside, thinking these guys are so gullible that he might as well hand the boss location to them. Still, he wants to push them a bit and says that if they let Linger go, the hidden boss will belong to them. He focuses on getting Linger safe, but the boss asks if he even knows who he is talking to. The girl introduces the boss as Yang Cheng, the third master who is tied to the second largest consortium in Yang Cheng Group and ranked 27th on the heavenly list. Our hero remembers he once thought the man looked familiar, and he recalls from his past life that his own company held 40% of the shares in that consortium. Even his father treated this man politely and with respect. Yet the master is acting like a robber because he does not know who he is dealing with and is trying to rob Zhaozhou. Zhaozhou realizes he has no other choice now but to show these people how to respect their elders. He is about to snap his fingers when a sudden roar inside the cave grabs everyone's attention. The girl tells her master that the hidden boss must really be inside. The boss gathers his men and riles them up, saying they are going to charge at the boss and defeat him. Everyone rushes forward and even throws Linger toward our hero because they think they have a bigger problem now. Zhaozhou catches her and watches the chaos unfold from a distance. He wonders how these idiots even became a leading gang. They did not prepare for anything before fighting the so-called boss. They do not even know who they are up against. If they walk right into his traps, then he will not take responsibility. And just as he predicts, every single one of them steps into our hero trap, confused, disoriented, and already a little scared. The master, who is no longer brave at all, sees the White King standing in front of him and his legs start to tremble. He wonders what kind of boss this is supposed to be because the creature does not look like a monster that would destroy him in an instant. One of his assassins detects a weak point, but the problem is that the creature is level 20. He asks his boss in a panic what they should do, and the boss, who is also trying not to panic, lies that since he is here, there is nothing to worry about. He claims he has a hidden warrior talent in the game, a Barakshir giant, thanks to all the money he spent leveling up. He cannot lose face in front of his people, so he immediately uses that skill and transforms into a Barakshir giant in front of the White King. Its active skill boosts strength by 130% and attack power by 150%, and it has a large execution effect. Even our hero is happy to see a skill like that, because it might be useful for him later. Meanwhile, Linger asks if he is really going to give up the mission, but he tells her there is no rush in killing the monster. He wants to enjoy a little entertainment first. Everyone starts cheering for their young master, saying he is phenomenal and will defeat the creature. Even the boss himself becomes arrogant, believing his talent and the huge spike in his strength will help him beat the White King. Besides, he has healers and assassins to support him. He charges at the White Wolf, but he does not expect what happens. The wolf grabs him like he is nothing more than a sack of potatoes. With one steel peak claw strike, it deals 800 damage and ignores every defense he has. The young master, who was full of arrogance a moment ago, now has only 80 HP left and is practically dead. The White King throws him aside like a piece of trash. His followers cannot believe their boss was humiliated and defeated so easily. They panic and run for their lives. Zhaozhou watches them scatter and cannot help admiring their dishonesty and how completely useless they turn out to be. The White Wolf roars, and a whole pack of wolves starts chasing the party as they run away. One of the girls, who was earlier practically glued to her boss's side, thinks there is no reason to fear a level 2 wolf and says they should go back and save their boss. The others think she is being foolish. They cannot fight so many wolves and their boss has already been one-shotted, so they need to run for their lives. Even he thinks her constant bootlicking might get them all killed, so he runs on his own while weakly apologizing to his boss for leaving him. Then he notices that our hero is not running at all. Instead, our hero is walking straight toward their almost dead boss, and he wants to know what this man is planning. Zhaozhou is already talking directly to the White Wolf King. He says the wolf is smarter than he thought, because at first he assumed the wolf was a coward for slipping back into his cave, but he realizes the wolf only did that to make sure he could take revenge on the wolves that chased him earlier. Our hero got killed once already, but next time his opponent will not be some mediocre party. It will be him. The boss, Yang Cheng-san Shao, now lying on the ground humiliated and near death, thinks our hero is arrogant for not running and for daring to face the White King head-on. He decides the smartest thing to do is play dead and escape when things calm down. The White Wolf does not like being threatened, so he orders his wolves telepathically to attack our hero. Our hero instantly switches on his headgear and says that they are just wolves, but he is a tiger. A massive aura bursts out from the giant white tiger form, and the wolves scramble away, terrified and already injured. The White Wolf hates seeing his little ones hurt, but before he can react, Zhaozhou rises into the sky and fires arrows straight at him. The White Wolf moves with sharp agility and dodges them one by one. Our hero realizes the wolf's speed is too much and his accuracy cannot keep up. If he cannot control his shots, he cannot land a hit. The wolf charges and uses his steel peak claw at the same moment Zhaozhou decides he needs to face him head-on. The claw strikes clean. Linger watches in horror as blood drips from our hero. His shield shatters and he loses a large amount of XP. Our hero starts mocking the wolf, saying he is stupid if he thinks our hero cannot dodge. But the truth is, our hero let himself get injured on purpose because he needed the wolf to fall into his trap. The trick is that if he had dodged the attack, he would not have been able to lock the White Wolf into a fixed position. What the White Wolf does not realize is that phantoms hover above his head, aiming 7-star flaming arrows from both sides. In total, 14 flaming arrows hit him. He drops his head and tries to dodge them, but there are too many, and he loses almost 1200 XP. He burns with rage and flame. Zhaozhou mocks him and says he has set traps all around them with illusions, so running is impossible. He takes a bite of that crocodile meat and challenges the wolf, thinking about who will last longer. Because the crocodile meat is high grade, he regains 400 total health. The White Wolf gargles and charges and suddenly disappears in front of our hero. Zhaozhou does not understand what just happened and how he used an invisibility spell. He becomes disoriented and the White Wolf appears behind him and strikes, dealing XP damage. While Zhaozhou is injured, he remembers that this is the same technique the wolf used earlier to take the party down. He sees the White Wolf vanish again and appear in front of him, striking again, and he repeats this trick again and again and again until almost half of our hero's HP is gone. The constant attacks give him no chance to heal, and he deals with all the pain. While his back is turned to the wolf, he sees him charge again, but at the very last second the trap triggers and ties the wolf down. Zhaozhou congratulates him and says his teleportation move is good, but it only works in close-range combat. As long as he placed the trap between them, the attack will only trigger it and give him a chance to retaliate. He lifts his bow and arrow and says it is his turn to deal damage. He hits almost 200 damage, and once again the White Wolf becomes so enraged that he breaks the trap and attacks in one short strike and deals another 800 XP damage. Instead of dying, our hero reveals that he knew all along the traps would not restrain him. That is why he did not dodge and used his body to keep the wolf in place. He only needed 3 seconds. He snaps his fingers and the phantoms rise again. He sets a trap and it activates immediately, and multiple traps restrain the White Wolf. He uses the 7-star flaming arrow and tells him to die, and the phantoms repeat the attack. This time 21 flaming stars hit him. 2 adventurers nearby think about hunting a wolf when they suddenly see a nuclear explosion in front of them. They do not know the game even has nukes and wonder if it is a hack, but they still enjoy the view. Linger watches and becomes ecstatic because Zhaozhou has almost won. The white wolf's HP is now only 75 and he will die any second. Xiaozhou takes a bite of Isaac's crocodile meat to recover and thinks about how 9 arrows missed earlier. A full combo would have taken the wolf out completely. He realizes he needs to practice controlling his illusions with more precision if he wants to grow stronger. Linger urges him to finish the wolf so they can complete the mission, but our hero, who is still healing, tells her not to rush because he has something he must do. Linger becomes confused and Xiaozhou thinks about his reply. Yang Cheng, who was earlier shot by the white wolf and is now back in his usual state, keeps pretending to be dead. He wonders why everything became silent after the loud blast and thinks Xiaozhou might finally be dead. He still cannot move because if he does, everyone will know he is actually alive, and that would be embarrassing. But what this boy does not realize is that our hero is already onto him. He drops an arrow right near his face to scare him. Yang Cheng gets up, unable to believe that he actually killed the White Wolf King. Xiaozhou says he did not, but the truth is the king is barely hanging on. Yang Cheng-san immediately starts bowing, admitting that our hero is truly powerful and that he was a fool not to recognize him earlier. He begs for forgiveness. Xiaozhou, showing rare mercy, says he can spare the leader's life and even let him gain experience from the White Wolf, but he needs him to do something in return. It is like signing a deal with the devil. The truth is our hero has no clear plan yet, so the Yang Cheng-san must wait. When the time comes, Xiaozhou will find a way to inform him. He then takes out his axe, threatening him whether he agrees or not. Yang Cheng-san instantly gets spooked. The reasoning is clear. Soon Xiao Tiankai will secretly take over his work, using other groups in the company to strip him of his position. Even though the leader's family influence is limited, they are easy to sway, which will buy our hero some time. The ability to bring game attributes into reality will be unlocked in 6 months, so he needs to level up steadily before then. Yang Cheng-san tries to argue that even if he agrees, Xiaozhou might still shoot him anyway. Our hero counters, saying that since Yang Cheng-san is a businessman at heart, he loves a good deal. If he agrees without negotiating a single condition, it cannot be genuine, and someone who is not greedy is someone he can rely on. Yang Cheng-san starts calling him Xiaozhou Big Brother, promising not to hide anything. He lays out his condition. If our hero helps him level up and secures his position as the leader of the Green Snake Gang, he will do anything within his power. Our hero agrees. Without even looking at his target, he releases another 7 strike pointers. All of them hit, striking the almost dead White Wolf and causing another explosion. Our hero, in his usual badass way, declares that a deal has been made. As promised, Xiaozhou lets the leader share his winnings and jump from level 8 to 10. Our hero himself jumps from level 13 to 15 and gains 14 unassigned attribute points. He receives the title Wolf Slayer, and now the villagers are all grateful to him. Yang Cheng-san thanks him for the favor, and Xiaozhou collects all the loot because, at the end of the day, all the materials belong to him. He tells the leader to stop calling him Big Brother because he does not like little partners. He warns that if Yang Cheng-san ever uses his name for anything disgraceful, he will make him wish he were dead. Yang Cheng-san, having seen the power our hero possesses, would not dare disobey, and he and his Green Snake Gang are now loyal to him until death. Xiaozhou calls to Linger, who is playing with the frog again, and says that when the right time comes, he will redeem the favor. Yang Cheng-san bows as the hero, and the little girl moves on with him. Linger cannot stop bragging, saying how amazing our hero is, and declares that she has finally agreed to marry him. Xiaozhou realizes his little joke has gotten out of hand. He bows to her and says he was just joking. She is an NPC, a pile of data, a kid, and very talkative. If she keeps calling him husband, people might think he is into minors, which is not true at all. Linger does not like his tone. She instantly bites him, and the powerful our hero has no choice but to scream like a girl in pain. Linger screams again and again that she is not a kid but a young woman. Xiaozhou finally lets her go and wonders who designed her because she is quite a wild child. He asks her to stop and give him a few minutes because he wants to check his loot. From the White Wolf, he gets White Wolf pants, silver level, which at full length increase movement by 100%. He instantly equips them, doubling his speed and making it feel like he is almost flying. He also gets Steel Wolf Claws, silver level, which have a skill that strikes fast and instantly teleports him behind enemies for a surprise attack. He discards it, thinking it is trash, leaving Linger confused, because what he really wants is the White Wolf fur, a rare and valuable item. He also obtains a legendary summoning skill, Wolf Minions, which can summon 2 phantom wolf minions that detect hidden units and attack them. This finally makes him happy, because he can now build a summoning and learn it by spending 20 silver coins. The rest of the loot are consumables he can use across different systems. Meanwhile, Gu is distraught that Xiaozhou has not returned with his daughter. She blames the village chief for letting her go with the kid. The village chief has no answer, but when she sees both of them returning safely, she lets out a sigh of relief, and so does Gu. Linger rushes to hug her mother, and Gu is ecstatic that she is safe and that our hero did not do anything bad with her. Xiaozhou, on the other hand, practically throws the wolf pelt to the village chief, who just smiles slyly. She says she did not expect him to actually do it, and that it seems he is no ordinary person. She takes out a map, explaining that it is a meeting place for levels 20 to 40. If Zhao wants to enter, he must follow the rules. After a month, he will be F-rated, but if he insists on going sooner, she will allow it. Since it is a hidden map, it will be harder than usual, but the rewards are greater. The chief also warns him to be careful. Our hero receives a notification that his mission is complete and assures the chief that he can handle himself. Linger rushes up to him, asking if he is really leaving. He jokes, asking if she wants to come with him. Instantly, Gu snatches her away, saying he is flirting with his daughter. The truth is, Linger is more attached than she lets on, and she tries to scream and stubbornly insists that she wants to go with him. Gu tells her that since he already has the map, he should just go. But Zhao has more bargaining to do. He returns to the village chief, pointing out that the wolf pelt is a rare item, yet she only gave him a map in return, which he thinks is quite meager. The chief thinks he is taking advantage, but he argues that he is only asking for reasonable compensation. People rarely hand over good stuff unless pushed. Our hero shines golden energy above his head, scaring the chief slightly. She agrees to give him more. She grants him an epic skill, Power Strike, which charges for 7 seconds to reach maximum damage and has a piercing effect that deals 500 agility damage. Zhao is amazed, realizing the chief truly has hidden treasures he never knew about. Later, our hero and the chief go to a riverbank. With one blinding arrow, Zhao creates a path across the water. He then uses the same Power Strike skill and is impressed by its strength and precision. The village chief proudly says that of course it is an epic skill and can even shoot through that small hill from such a long distance. He congratulates her, saying she really is a socialist at heart, not completely capitalist, and that she cares for people who truly put in effort. He then turns to Linger and says that they will see our hero next time, and asks her to grow up. Linger screams with excitement as Zhao dashes away, leaving her heartbroken. On the other side of the river in the suburb, he takes out a map of the Roy city in front of him. The city looks absolutely beautiful, and he is excited to explore it before his rebirth, because he started out so poorly. He missed all the hidden bosses and special class-specific quests in the beginner village, and had to spend 2 months farming cows before finally reaching the Roy city. When he entered, he realized all the best items were already gone, but fortunately, he had memorized the locations of the chests, bosses, and useful NPCs, which he can use now. The most important goal starting from the Roy city is that after reaching level 40 and completing a special mission, he can bring back attributes into the real world. That is his main focus for now. Soon he will make sure the snake Xiaotiankai is taken care of, but before entering the Roy city, he decides to clear his inventory. He wants to convert all the items he does not need into money. He heads to the auction house near where the girls are dressed up as bunnies, luring people inside. Zhao is surprised by how many people are there, but he knows it is a good thing, because the more people, the faster all of his store inventory will sell. One of the girls asks if he is here to auction or bet and eventually directs him to deposit the auction items at the registration desk. Then he will get a number and the items will be auctioned. A 10% handling fee applies to successful sales. She also asks if he wants to hide his identity. Our hero thinks for a moment. He does not want to be bombarded with requests to party up, join guilds, or be bothered by people, so he hides his identity. He enters the live auction to see how it goes. A beautiful lady steps forward, and all the men blush at her beauty. She is selling the Ring of Greed, bronze quality, which requires more than 10% luck. One ugly man thinks the bronze item may even be worth buying, but the girl stops him. She says the real value is not in the ring, it is in the gold. Suddenly, Zhao remembers that this bronze item is actually a rare piece he can never find anywhere else. In his past life, he remembers the diamond quality gold ring, an extremely rare artifact that increases luck by 50%, doubles drop materials and money, and guarantees golden quality equipment from monsters level 30 and above. If he is able to evolve it to diamond quality, then he would literally hit the jackpot. Other people try to bid on it with some meager and careless money, but he instantly raises his hand and bids 1 gold coin. Everyone thinks he is crazy for spending so much money on what they believe is useless junk, but then another bidder suddenly offers 10 coins. The bystanders cannot understand what is happening because bronze equipment is never sold for gold coins, and they think these two idiots must have lost their minds. The other bidder looks at our hero like he knows something, and he begins to suspect that Zhao might actually understand the real value of the ring. Our hero suspects it too, but he is not going to let this ring slip away, so he bids 30 coins. The other bidder grits his teeth because the price is getting too high, and he bids 50 coins. He then tries to provoke Zhao by saying he must be so poor that he cannot go higher than 50. Zhao simply raises his hand and bids 100 gold coins without hesitation. Even the other bidder looks intimidated. The auctioneer immediately sells it to our hero and closes the deal. Zhao equips the greedy ring and checks his timer. There are 8 hours left before his evolution refreshes, and once he evolves this ring, it will guarantee his future profits. The other bidder now seems to hold a vendetta against him and mutters that he is going to remember someone like our hero. Zhao is confused because he does not understand the man's problem. They do not even know each other, like bruh. He thinks he does not have time to deal with someone like that. Suddenly someone calls him while gently caressing his face, and when he turns around he sees the same beautiful woman from the stage. She is now clinging to him and says that he is hers for today. He does not really understand what she means, or what it even means for someone to belong to someone else. The girl tells him not to play dumb, pointing out the truth, that he had offered to pay far more than anyone else just to get her. He is almost literally disgusted, and looks back nervously, thinking he did not know someone could be so bold. The girl, still perched practically on top of him, says he should not worry because tonight she is going to serve only him. Despite it being in the game, she promises it will be the best experience he has ever had. Our hero is not amused at all. He only wanted the ring, but now he also has to entertain her, and he did not realize it was that kind of event. He pushes her away and says no offense. She has a killer body, but he has something else in mind, and she can follow him. Later, once she is finished, she asks what it is. Suddenly, she notices an ugly man behind Zhaoju, and her smile drops instantly, as if she sees a predator, or a rat to be more precise. Our hero turns around, slightly spooked by the ugly man. The old man says he has plenty of good items and wants Zhaoju to take a look. Our hero decides to give him a chance, curious to see whether he actually has anything valuable. The old man, however, thinks Zhaoju is a rich brat who bought a broken bronze ring for 100 gold coins, so clearly he has money to waste on junk. All he needs to do is scorn him a bit. The old man shows him leather armor, bronze thorn shoes, a windbow silver, an iron bone bullhorn, and a flower crown. My guy is not impressed at all, thinking it is all absolute garbage. The old man insists he will sell the silver bow for 200,000 gold, but Zhaoju dismisses it, saying he does not want to buy his junk. The old man is horrified that Zhaoju called his items crap. He grabs our hero by the collar and threatens to teach him a lesson. He demands that Zhaoju apologize by buying his stuff, or he will give him a beating. What the old man does not realize is that Zhaoju is the one he should fear, not the other way around. When our hero reveals his dark, intimidating aura, the old man instantly recoils in fear. The girl who has been glued to Zhaoju takes his side and tells the old man to leave him alone because our hero has already refused. She alerts the bodyguards nearby and reminds the old man that there are consequences for doing private deals in this area. The security guards have been watching the place for a while. Realizing he is getting nowhere, the old man stomps away in a tantrum, calling everyone fools. Zhaoju is still pissed about the whole interaction. If it weren't for the fact that fighting here would get him banned from the auction house, he would have sent the old man straight back to the respawn point. He turns to the girl and says that since she is so eager to be his tonight, she is going to do whatever he says, right? The girl instantly blushes and giggles, agreeing. He tells her that she will stay at the auction house to help keep watch for a while. In return, he will transfer the money from the auction of the 3 silver weapons to her, which he expects will total around 800 gold. She is to keep an eye on his loot, and if a refining chip appears, she should buy all of it without hesitation. The girl cannot believe that he wants to help her, and have her simply stay at the auction house for the night. Our hero then explains that since her figure is quite attractive, just showing herself a little will prevent anyone from competing with her, and people will throw money at her. The girl, who has never met a man like him before, is confused. She cannot believe that he just wants her to work for him tonight, and suspects there might be some hidden intention, so she initially refuses. When Zhaoju says he will give her extra for her trouble, she instantly changes her mind and agrees as if she is his soldier. He tells her that he will find her later, and she should focus on working. After he leaves, the girl bursts into tears, thinking that he is truly a confident, rich, and handsome man who just made her night by being kind. A refining chip is a key material used to purchase hidden items after reaching the Roy City. The drop rate for these items is not very high, but before the second map opens, everyone sells it as a gem because they do not realize its importance. As our hero thinks about this, he walks toward a repair shop to upgrade his current gear. Inside, a Hulk-like man is crying like a baby over a hammer he dropped and misplaced. He wails that he would rather die than lose his precious item, but Zhaoju interrupts him and shows him the hammer he found. The guy instantly becomes ecstatic and, as a token of gratitude, promises that if our hero has any gear, he will upgrade it for free. In truth, this place is part of a hidden quest. Our hero only discovers it after consulting a strategy guide. This mysterious blacksmith shop allows a free upgrade once someone finds a lost hammer. Our hero takes out his bow and asks the blacksmith to upgrade it to the max. The best part is that this shop not only upgrades gear, but also sells low-level materials, meaning Zhaoju no longer has to grind low-level monsters for materials. It is perfect for him. The blacksmith agrees, and 20 minutes later, he comes to Zhaoju to deliver the fully upgraded bow. Zhaoju is a little disappointed because the upgrade was quite fast. The blacksmith explains that he could only upgrade the bow to level 10 since he does not have any high-level materials. Without the free upgrade, the total cost of materials would have been around 20 gold. Meanwhile, Zhaoju tests the bow and feels that it is much better. He tells the blacksmith that there is no need to worry, since he plans to switch to a new bow very soon anyway. With that, he leaves and the blacksmith bids him farewell. Zhaoju thinks about the Roy City, knowing that starting from level 20, the boss cap over there is 60. It will still be tough competition, but for safety, he needs to wait for his evolution cooldown before heading in. He is standing in a forest when suddenly someone points an arrow at him, aiming to attack. Zhao dodges at the last second, but the arrow grazes his cheek, leaving tiny drops of blood. The opposing bidder from the auction, the one who rivaled him for the gold coin, is amazed. He did not expect Zhao to dodge his backstab. Zhao instantly recognizes him and says that if this is about the bidding war, it was just a misunderstanding. He only wanted the equipment and does not need any trouble. The warrior replies that it is too late for that. Zhao thinks he might just be unlucky, since all he wanted was a few hours of peace, but now he is stuck in this situation. The warrior whistles, and soon a few men emerge from the forest. Zhao notices that one of the men is holding the slave girl in custody. The poor girl is struggling, clearly in distress. Zhao stands there with these thugs while they grab his employee, and he hears them claim that she belongs to him tonight and that she is working for him. He knows these thugs have no shame, and the opposing bidder, who seems to have taken it as a personal insult that our hero outbid him, starts to mock him. He talks about how Zhao has so much money that he is ready to spend 100 gold coins to buy bronze trash. He says that since our hero is so rich and has plenty of good equipment, he needs to share it with them. The girl starts to cry as she tells our hero that the remaining money was stolen by them, and that they took the refining chips as well. The same old man who was rejected by our hero steps toward her, and the girl hates the way he underestimates our hero and his power. She knows that ruining his plan would never have taken him far, and with that he hits the girl until she is on the ground and crying. Our hero finally speaks, and he says that he does not care if they steal his things, but laying hands on his people, especially a girl right in front of him, calls for death. Everyone looks at him seriously at first, but then they burst out laughing because they think Zhao is just another cringe anime hero who delivers good lines but never good action. The biggest one among them steps toward the girl, threatening our hero and nearly crushing her, and this sparks a deep anger and fire in Zhao that he did not even realize he had. Everyone becomes alert as Zhao unleashes a powerful strike and hits every one of them. One of the thugs tries to attack him with a cocky grin, but in one swift motion our hero is already on him, saying that he's too slow 7. The other two thugs cannot believe that our hero is going to kill their companion, but Zhao does not care, and he calls his phantoms who rain down flaming arrows one by one on the thugs and show them who the real mafia is. The thugs evaporate like thin air, and their desperate cries sound like music to Zhao ears. Then suddenly, the same opposing bidder who called his party to fight steps out from the forest, and this time he tries to backtrack. He says that he did not mean any harm, and that he did not realize the potential Zhao had. He adds that the people our hero just killed are small fries that he could easily dispose of if needed. He introduces himself as Shibusha, 5th on the ladder board, and while our hero was busy taking everyone else out, he used his weakness detection and learned about him. He realizes that Zhao is a phantom hunter. Zhao asks what he thinks about that, and Shibusha instantly understands that our hero must be the #1 person in the world right now. Our hero confirms his guess, and with that Shibusha hands over 400 gold and 70 refining shards from earlier, saying that he is returning them out of the goodwill of his heart. Zhao catches the items and checks the weight, and while it seems like everything is there, he still gives Shibusha a cold look. Shibusha then suggests forming an alliance so they can create a new gang together. He says that with their power combined, they can make endless money in this world and enjoy countless women every night. Our hero listens to everything while calmly stashing away his money, and then he instantly rejects the offer. He finds it ridiculous that Shibusha dares to ask him, the #1 person in the game, to form an alliance when he needs no one. Shibusha asks what Zhao actually wants, and our hero replies with one simple word: revenge. Shibusha does not understand what he means. He turns and says that if Zhao ever changes his mind, his doors are always open. Our hero is not done with him yet. He fires a flaming arrow that blocks Shibusha's path, and in that moment, Shibusha realizes that he is in far more trouble than he first believed. Shibusha spins around, clearly on high alert, asking who ambushed him. Whoever did it not only blocked his path but grazed his leg and injured him. When he turns, he sees Zhao clone staring at him with a badass expression. He quickly turns to our hero, calling him bro, and says that it is fine if he does not want to cooperate, but there is no need to make enemies. Shibusha adds that he is ranked 5th on the leaderboard and has bought high-tier insurance in the game, so if our hero kills him now, he will surely get a red name. Shibusha thinks our hero does not understand the cost of a red name, clearly underestimating how much Zhao knows. Just then, 2 phantoms appear around Shibusha, trapping him and sending their bows flying straight at him. Zhao says that he does not care about a red name because he despises people who are scumbags and betray their teammates just like their enemies. He draws another arrow, and Shibusha realizes that his plan of sacrificing his teammates just to get a chance to talk to Zhao has backfired. He pleads for mercy, begging him to wait a second, but it is too late. In the next moment, a nuclear explosion erupts, completely annihilating Shibusha and his pathetic self. Immediately, a system notification appears for everyone. It informs them that Zhaozhou has killed Shibusha, his current location is Dark Night Forest, and whoever kills him will receive a bounty of 50,000 gold coins. Players around the world react with a mix of fear and excitement. They are scared because 2 top 5 leaderboard players have just killed each other, but they are ecstatic at the chance to earn huge rewards. They think that if they work together, they might take down Zhaozhou, but they do not realize that he is far stronger than all of them combined. Meanwhile, Zhaozhou finds the situation disgusting, not because he killed a man and is now on the wanted list, but because he sees how capitalist the system is. When a regular player dies, no one is notified, but when a leaderboard player with expensive insurance dies, the entire server gets a notification, and the killer becomes wanted. No matter where he goes, money holds the ultimate power. The girl who works for Zhaozhou, Vigli, stands up and asks why he has not left yet. She points out that a 50,000 gold bounty is already comparable to a high-level boss, and huge groups of players are now closing in on him. He barely has any seconds to react before they arrive. Zhaozhou stays remarkably calm in the situation, saying that he has not even paid for her employment yet, but he hands her the full 400 gold coins he earned for her assistance. The girl cannot believe her eyes, tears welling up as she realizes how much money that is. She quietly admits that if she earns just a little more, she can finally be free. This catches Zhaozhou's attention, and he asks if she has been forced or treated like a slave to handle these transactions. He tells her to be honest so he can understand how many others are suffering besides her. The girl blushes and admits she does not know the full extent, but she does know that they are all working for Rising Sun Corporation. The world seems to tilt beneath Zhaozhou's feet because it is his corporation. He mutters a weak apology, feeling the weight of the betrayal. The girl tells him not to ask any more questions, sensing his sensitivity, and Zhaozhou respects her wishes. Suddenly, the girl jumps forward and kisses him on the cheek, catching him completely off guard. He blushes deeply, as if he had just finished a makeover at a salon. The girl shyly thanks him for his kindness and understanding, calling him her hero. She then stutters a farewell and runs away. As she disappears, Zhaozhou reflects that the only person in his corporation capable of such monstrous acts is likely Xiao Tiankai. Even if it is not him, it must be another traitor. He knows that once he returns, he will need to uncover the truth. Lost in thought, he does not notice the threat looming behind him. A fireball streaks toward him, but he anticipates the attack, turning calmly and commenting that he is surprised they arrived so quickly. He deflects the fireball with one hand, smirking because he knows today is going to be entertaining with all these people. Suddenly, a large group of men charges at him. Zhaozhou activates his tiger mask, preparing for battle, thinking that everyone approaching is walking straight to their death. Then he notices a familiar face, Yang Cheng-san, the leader of the Green Snake Gang, whom he helped just a few days ago, greeting him warmly. Yang Cheng-san runs up to Zhaozhou, but then he notices a phantom placing an arrow right on his head. He stops mid-air immediately. Suddenly, Zhaozhou charges at him, demanding if he already betrayed him this morning. The leader screams his innocence, begging him to calm down and insisting it is all a misunderstanding. He only wanted to help. Zhaozhou punch freezes mid-air as Yang Cheng-san turns to his party members, telling them to call Zhaozhou Big Brother and show their respect. Each member bows down in appreciation. Zhaozhou asks the leader what he is doing and releases his collar. The leader explains that the Green Snake Gang has a mission today. Anyone who dares to approach Zhaozhou is going to be beaten to death. Zhaozhou asks if he had eaten dragon meat or something, because when was the last time he was this brave? Yang Cheng-san slyly replies that this is just who he is now. Even if he encounters an expert and gets taken down, at least he can provide information and stall the threat until Zhaozhou arrives to handle it. Zhaozhou has mixed feelings, realizing this guy has truly become loyal. No wonder, even with average strength, he became a gang leader. Zhaozhou, preferring to play solo, says he appreciates everything Yang Cheng-san has done, but he will go back so they don't get hurt. He insists he will clean up the mess himself. The leader offers a hiding place where Zhaozhou can stay unseen, but Zhaozhou declines again, saying he wants to take his chances to send a message to the Guan family so they don't threaten him under his name again. The Green Snake Gang looks at Zhaozhou in awe and starts cheering, calling him all-powerful and an expert. Later, Zhaozhou walks, unaware that someone is using weakness detection on him. A bald, muscular man hides behind the trees, thinking 550,000 gold coins is far too much for a scrawny guy like Zhaozhou. What he doesn't know is that an even larger hulking man sneaks up behind him, landing punch after punch to neutralize the threat against Zhaozhou. He is part of the Green Snake Gang, quietly protecting Zhaozhou while he simply walks. The leader walks beside Zhaozhou, explaining that the smaller threats have been taken care of. Zhaozhou, however, senses something bigger looming in the background. He observes it through the eyes of a wolf he has, watching a party being taken down easily by other players. Zhaozhou tells Yang Cheng-san that the remaining opponents are probably more skilled, and then he suddenly gets alerted, scanning the area. Yang Cheng-san notices and asks what is wrong with him. Yang Cheng-san asks Zhao Zhou if he is really sure about not leaving, because the truth is that he is the only one left, and his last teammate has already been taken out by other players. Yang Cheng-san does not realize how serious the situation is and tries to whistle so his clan can regroup, but he is met with complete silence from the forest. Panic instantly sets in, not because he is afraid for his life, but because he feels he has failed once again to deliver results. He turns to Zhao Zhou and asks what they should do now. Zhao Zhou responds by whistling calmly, and suddenly white wolves appear from all corners of the forest. The leader thinks they are about to be attacked and quickly starts preparing his power, but Zhao Zhou tells him to stop. He crouches down and starts fluffing the wolves like loyal pets, calling them good boys, and explains that he brought all of them here himself. They are gathering intelligence across the forest. Seeing this, Yang Cheng-san realizes that Zhao Zhou is truly a one-man army, capable of doing things beyond imagination. He also understands that Zhao Zhou and the wolves are actively sharing information. Zhao Zhou explains that the wolves' scouting ability is extremely impressive, allowing them to see and reach almost any location. He stands up and tells the leader that a total of 76 people came for him, and now only 2 remain. Yang Cheng-san is stunned by the number, realizing how massive the threat actually was. It hits him that his entire group could never handle that many enemies. Zhao Zhou then clarifies that it was his phantoms who took care of most of them, and sure enough, his phantoms are still busy eliminating the remaining threats. Yang Cheng-san is once again left speechless and admits that Zhao Zhou is truly incredible. He says that if he even had 1% of Zhao Zhou power, he could have been far more useful. Zhao Zhou tries to comfort him, telling him not to push himself into dangerous situations like this. He reminds him that the safety of his group matters more than any pointless ego battle. Just as the moment settles between them, someone suddenly interrupts their brotherly exchange. It turns out to be a brother and sister duo. The man turns toward Zhao Zhou and says that finding him was a real pain, because a lot of people were protecting him and they had to kill many just to reach this point. While he speaks, Zhao Zhou uses his weakness detection to scan their details. The man is ladder rank 23, a level 8 ranger called Cruel King. The girl is ladder rank 8, a level 10 summoner named Haiji. Zhao Zhou is not surprised they survived this far, because they are higher level, smart, and clearly powerful. Zhao Zhou then turns to the leader, the one who calls him Big Brother, and tells him that this is his turn to shine. Yang Cheng-san nervously asks if Zhao Zhou is really sending him alone. Zhao Zhou explains that as long as these two are taken out, the leader's ladder rank will increase. He also wants to test whether the boy can be useful in critical moments. Yang Cheng-san feels nervous but still agrees. Meanwhile, Cruel King thinks there must be another ranger around, because in earlier fights he kept wondering whose arrow was faster, his or the hidden one. The leader steps forward and tells both enemies to step back, asking one of them to attack first. Haiji immediately senses that the real expert is hiding behind and calls Yang Cheng-san a dog she needs to deal with first. At the same time, the Cruel King calls Zhao Zhou a coward for hiding behind a lapdog. Zhao Zhou only smirks. Yang Cheng-san explodes in anger, calling them arrogant, and charges forward, shouting that he is the leader of the Green Snake Gang and he can do anything. Before he realizes it, stones rise from the ground and bind him tightly. Blood spills from his mouth and his experience drops by 300. Haiji coldly tells him to shut up and reveals that she is the one controlling the summoning technique, Shadow Giant. Yang Cheng-san activates his rampaging giant and barely breaks free from the stone restraint, but Haiji immediately raises her other hand and summons an even larger stone monster in front of him. But Yang Cheng-san cannot understand how, even with his power boost, there is no effect at all. Haiji explains calmly that her shadow giant has the strongest defense, something no one can break. It can attack and defend at the same time. This is the true power of a shadow summoner. From a distance, Zhao Zhou watches the entire exchange with interest. He finds the ability impressive, and he genuinely likes what he is seeing. Zhao Zhou reacts without even turning his body and calmly calls out Cruel King by name. Cruel King freezes, unable to understand how Zhao Zhou detected him, especially after using an epic skill to teleport behind him. In the next instant, he turns his head and realizes that 2 phantoms are already on him. Without hesitation, they slam him to the ground and pin him down, pressing his head firmly into the dirt. Zhao Zhou tells him to stay quiet like a good boy because he is busy watching a show, and once he is done, he will deal with him slowly. The words send a deep chill down Cruel King's spine as Zhao Zhou shifts his attention back to his mentee. The leader struggles against Haiji and her stone monster, putting in everything he has. Still, the stone monster is clearly stronger. It lifts him and throws him hard onto the ground. In that moment, Yang Cheng-san realizes that he is weaker in raw strength, but he believes his speed can make the difference. That hope shatters in the very next second. The stone monster suddenly appears behind him and grabs his arm tightly. The leader starts cursing under his breath as panic sets in. Haiji watches calmly and asks him why he is risking his life for Zhao Zhou, especially when Zhao Zhou is now a wanted criminal. She offers him a deal, suggesting they team up and split the bounty between themselves. Yang Cheng-san looks genuinely confused, wondering if she has lost her mind for suggesting he betray Zhao Jiu. He also knows exactly what kind of power Zhao Jiu holds, and he has no intention of standing on the opposite side of that force. Haiji scoffs, clearly unimpressed. She decides that if he insists on playing the hero, then she will personally send him back to the respawn point. With that, the stone monster slams him into the ground again and again, each strike heavier than the last. The shadow monster closes in on the leader's face and starts to suffocate him badly. But then suddenly everything bursts apart, and Yang Cheng-san, now back in his normal form, crashes onto the ground. Haiji watches him closely and thinks it is a miracle that he still has any breath left in his body. While the leader lies there, clearly exhausted and injured, Haiji slowly walks around him and says that she is now going to show Zhao Jiu. She says she will give him a proper lesson, but just then the leader weakly grabs at her, almost begging her to stop. At the same time, the shadow monster turns and directly faces Zhao Jiu, and instead of fear or anger, Zhao Jiu only responds with a calm smirk. Haiji clicks her tongue and calls Yang Cheng-san annoying, then kicks him away without hesitation and orders the shadow monster to crush him. The shadow monster moves on top of the leader as he starts to tremble in fear, his body shaking uncontrollably, but suddenly a bolt of lightning strikes. When Yang Cheng-san looks up again, he sees the color completely drained from Haiji's face, and the shadow monster has already evaporated into thin air. Haiji stares in disbelief, unable to accept that Zhao Jiu defeated her shadow giant in a single move, and she starts to regret coming here at all. Zhao Jiu says it was obvious that he would be the one to defeat it, but then he adds that he is already behind her, something Haiji never notices until it is too late. Zhao Jiu instantly releases his aura, and the leader breaks down into tears of joy, believing his big brother has finally come to save him. Haiji demands to know how Zhao Jiu possesses such overwhelming power, because killing her shadow giant should be practically impossible. Instead of answering directly, Zhao Jiu calmly asks why she even needs the bounty. Haiji replies that it is meant to be her guild's startup fund, and most of it will go straight into her own pocket, because who would not like free money on top of that? She activates her power again and spreads a dark liquid shadow across the ground beneath Zhao Jiu's feet. It turns into a shadow swamp, and Haiji laughs confidently, saying that no matter what he does, he cannot escape it, and with the rapid health drain, he will be dead in under 5 seconds. Zhao Jiu experience points begin to drop at 300 per second, but he simply steps forward and walks out of the swamp without any trouble. He looks back at Haiji and says that while her trick is interesting, it is not impressive enough to work on him. With a calm tone in his voice, Zhao Jiu asks if she has any other tricks left to use, but the girl refuses, clearly nervous now. At the same time, Zhao Jiu thinks about what she really means, realizing she is talking about creating the guild High Qi, which is one of the strongest guilds from before his reincarnation. Xiao Tiankai only leveled up quickly in the early stages because he stuck close to the High Qi and spent a huge amount of money to get high-quality resources. With that in mind, Zhao Jiu says that he does not want to wipe them out, so he will give them 2 choices instead. The first choice is that he will give them double the money they need to form a guild, but they must do one thing for him. The second choice is simple. He will send them straight to the respawn point without delay. The girl is smart enough to understand the situation, so she immediately chooses the first option without hesitation. Zhao Jiu tells her to leave for now, saying he will transfer the money later, and he advises her to use it properly to form a guild, and name it the Ling Yun Guild. With that settled, he turns and walks away, while the girl quietly whispers that she hopes he keeps his word. Zhao Jiu then crouches down in front of the leader and hands him a recovery potion. The leader drinks it instantly and is fully restored, as if none of the injuries ever happened. Zhao Jiu then says that he has one more job for him to finish, and Yang Cheng-san eagerly jumps at the opportunity without a second thought. Zhao Jiu turns toward the cruel king, who is still restrained under his control, and says that he needs to deal with that guy next. Yang Cheng-san's lips curl into a wide smirk, as if he just received a free ticket to Olive Garden. He walks up to the cruel king, crouches down in front of him, and starts mocking him, asking where all that arrogance went now. He activates his power and begins to torture him without mercy, warning him that he should never dare to even look at his brother again. As the torture continues, a notification suddenly appears, informing him that he has been promoted from rank 26 to rank 22 on the ladder. A while later, he receives a notification that he has been forcibly logged off, and when he removes his mask, he realizes that nearly 15 hours have passed since he started playing. He has almost finished his preparations, and the next day he plans to head straight to the Roy City. After leveling up there, he needs to find a way to bring his sister into the game, because leveling up together will double their overall efficiency. He also considers asking that mage from earlier for help, but for now he has no clear plan, and he decides to think about it later, because there are still a few important matters he must handle first. With that thought, he calls Da Cheng, asking him to come over because there is something important they need to discuss. Not long after, a muscular bodyguard knocks and walks into the room. He is one of Zhao Jiu's most loyal guards, tall and powerfully built, Da Cheng. Zhao Jiu explains that he needs to investigate a matter and gather information about the illegal activities Xiao Tiankai's subordinates are involved in, and they need detailed results as soon as possible. Dacheng quietly thinks it is almost unbelievable that Zhaozhou still refuses to give up, but Zhaozhou has no interest in small talk. He shoots a sharp side glance at the bodyguard, and the 6'2" towering man immediately starts to tremble. He bows deeply in front of Zhaozhou and promises that he will get the information without fail and will not disappoint him. Zhaozhou calmly takes a sip of his coffee and says that this is only the beginning of his plan, and the best part is still yet to come. The next day, Zhaozhou is getting ready to leave when Xiaotong asks him where he is going, noticing how dressed up he looks. He tells her that he is heading to a board meeting, and Xiaotong instantly lights up with excitement. She rushes forward and hugs him tightly, saying how happy she is that her brother is finally back to his old self. She mentions that she heard about the recent incident, and because of it, the board decided to give Xiao Tiankai the acting chairman position. Zhaozhou listens calmly, because he already knows all of this. The board members, including Uncle Qi and Amber, were bought off by Xiao Tiankai a long time ago, and that is exactly why corruption has been spreading behind the scenes. But Zhaozhou does not want his little sister to worry, so he pats her head and says he is just going for a routine checkup. He also wants to quietly remind everyone that their boss is still alive, and running the company. For the first time in a very long time, Xiaotong feels a flicker of fear toward her brother. Later, at headquarters, a board meeting is underway, led by Xiao Tiankai, who is trying to secure votes for a project he just proposed. As expected, Uncle Qi and Amber support it, and following their lead, several other board members also vote in favor. Inside, Xiao Tiankai beams with satisfaction at the work of Uncle Qi and Amber because they know exactly how to play the game. In just a few days, they manage to sway all the old decision-makers, and with a majority secured, Xiao Tiankai declares the project will launch next week. However, a bald man raises his hand and says he did not vote, catching Xiao Tiankai off guard. Irritated, Xiao Tiankai points out that he did not even see the man sitting quietly in a corner. The man is Uncle Hai, a giant and serious-looking figure. Xiao Tiankai demands to know his decision, and Uncle Hai calmly says that he votes against the project. He argues that Xiao Tiankai is out of his mind because the project will harm the company's reputation, carry huge legal risks, and directly contradict Zhaozhou's previous strategies. If it goes ahead, the company could collapse. Xiao Tiankai counters, insisting that the project will bring huge profits and claims Zhaozhou's strategies are outdated. He says that at this critical time, they need absolute victory, and gives Uncle Hai two options: support the project or leave the boardroom. Uncle Hai, clearly unwilling to be intimidated, stands his ground and Amber tries to calm him, reminding him to act with some civility and be graceful about his age. He points out that by the rules, the vote is 7-1 in favor, so technically the project should pass. Suddenly, someone loudly announces their opposition, drawing everyone's attention. Xiao Tiankai mutters nervously, wondering what Zhaozhou is doing there. At that moment, Xiaotong rolls Zhaozhou into the room in his wheelchair. Zhaozhou calmly says that, as chairman, he is attending one of his board meetings. Xiao Tiankai puts on a fake smile, pretending he is happy to see him. Amber tries to ease the tension, suggesting it is nice to have him present, and that he should trust the board to handle things while he rests. But Zhaozhou shakes his head, saying that his health is improving and he has missed everyone, so he just wanted to see them. He reminds them that he still has veto power, and with that, he declares the project temporarily cancelled. Uncle Qi nearly loses his temper, but Amber quietly signals him to hold back, and they share a knowing glance. Xiao Tiankai, seething but trying to stay composed, voices that he wants to agree with Zhaozhou's wishes, but Zhaozhou can clearly tell that Xiao Tiankai is not happy, and that was exactly the point all along. However, Zhaozhou knows he needs to be smart about how he handles everything. The whole situation is more complicated than it seems, because until he can bring the game's attributes fully into real life, he cannot completely take everyone down. Their forces are deeply rooted and tightly connected, and if he pushes too hard, they might rebel while he is still vulnerable in his wheelchair. So he lies, turning to Xiao Tiankai and saying he trusts his abilities. But he makes it clear that he cannot approve the project, since it directly goes against his strategy. Whatever Xiao Tiankai plans next, Zhaozhou will definitely review it carefully before giving his approval. He realizes that for now, only Uncle Hai is truly on his side, so he decides to hold back a bit. He then tells everyone that he will come by occasionally, and asks them to continue without him as he leaves first. Meanwhile, Amber calls Xiao Tiankai over. When he looks at him, he gives him a meaningful glance, silently urging him to finish off Zhaozhou once and for all. Xiao Tiankai realizes that the time has finally come to strike back. Later, he sits in his office thinking about how well things had been going for him until Zhaozhou arrived and ruined all his plans. Amber warns that they don't have much time, and if they want to claim what belongs to them, they need to be ruthless. Xiao Tiankai admits that it might be difficult to make repeated moves against Zhaozhou because he could catch on, especially since his puppet, Cheng Long, has already set up extensive defenses around Zhaozhou's home and the hospital. Xiao Tiankai tells himself that he will get through Zhaozhou eventually, but there is one thing he must handle first. On the other side, Uncle Hai is driving when a car suddenly pulls up alongside him, pointing a gun at him, Before he can react, the driver shoots the attacker in the head. The terrorist car tries again, but Hai does not realize that a truck is already coming toward them, and the two vehicles collide. Before the crash, Hai's driver eliminates the remaining attackers and narrowly escapes the collision. Hai cannot believe that Xiao Tiankai actually sent assassins after him, but thanks to Zhao Ju, he survives. He also owes his safety to Da Cheng, who was there to help him. Da Cheng tells Hai to be sure to thank Zhao Zhou, because it was Zhao Zhou who sent him to pick Hai up and save him from the attack. Hai is boiling with anger and curses Xiao Tiankai for everything. Meanwhile, Da Cheng texts Zhao Zhou to confirm that his uncle is safe and protected. Once he gets the confirmation, he says it's time to log back in and perform his mission. Zhao Zhou restarts the game and reaches Roy City. At the moment, there is only one other player there, and the danger level is extremely high. He turns off all alerts because he is focused on a very urgent task. As expected, Xiao Tiankai has returned and the gates are tightly sealed. Zhao Zhou remembers that there are only two ways to get in. The first is to sneak around to the back of Roy City through the wilderness, where a small entrance allows players to enter. Along the way, they face mountain trolls ranging from level 20 to 30. This route would let him bypass the main storyline entirely. The second option is to follow the main storyline, where every night the demon army attacks the city, and he must help the general defend against the assault. This path allows him to enter the city as a guard, which is exactly what Zhao Zhou decides to do. By following this route, he will also unlock a hidden map, discover the demon's nest, and gain abundant rewards, including the Golden Demon Guard set. This is his mission before leveling up. Suddenly, a system notification pops up, telling him that all his evolution skills have cooled down, which means it's time for him to take on another set of powerful actions and explore new abilities. He immediately thinks about upgrading his bronze ring to diamond quality. With that, he can widen the gap between himself and everyone else and maximize the profits he is about to earn. He releases his phantoms and clicks to evolve the ring, but nothing happens. He wonders if it's because the greedy ring only has two qualities, bronze and diamond, without any intermediate levels, so evolving it produces no immediate response. Undeterred, he tries again, and suddenly the ring emits a cracking sound. He realizes that if the ring doesn't reach diamond quality, he could face a huge loss, especially since this city is extremely dangerous. He only has one last evolution attempt left, so he needs to be smart. If he succeeds, he will never lack resources again. It's a gamble, but he decides to go for it. With a deep breath, he uses his last evolution attempt. The ring cracks dramatically and reveals its diamond quality. He gains over 50 luck points and unlocks a special effect, a 100% drop rate increase, and boss monsters level 30 and above now drop guaranteed gold quality items. His money gains are also doubled. He is ecstatic, knowing he made the right bet, and now everything is ready. All that remains is to wait for midnight. At midnight, a swarm of the demon army attacks the city. Zhao Ju is already perched on a distant mountain, observing everything and waiting for the perfect moment to strike. On the battlefield, the Roy City army stands ready, and the general commands his soldiers to prepare for combat. The demons swarm in, most around level 20, but the biggest demon is level 30. Zhao Ju can hardly contain his excitement at the thought of all the loot he will claim and evolve from this battle. The general charges at the demons, and the clash begins. It rarely happens that a battle between NPCs is this chaotic and intense, but Zhao Zhou hopes the defense forces can hold their ground on their own. That way, he only needs to wait for the right moment to strike the boss and claim all the loot and credit easily. On the ground, the general fights tirelessly, defeating demons one by one, sending them back to hell with thunder, his sword, and lightning, as if perfectly trained for this. Suddenly, someone calls out to the general, and he realizes that the general has taken a massive hit and fallen. Another NPC shouts his name, and Zhao Zhou immediately notices that this does not match the script from his previous life. For the first time, he worries that the battle could completely fail. He has no choice but to step in, because if the general dies, the storyline cannot continue, and the later events depend on him. Zhao Zhou orders his phantoms to attack the demon right in front of the general. The level 30 demon takes a massive hit, but before it can recover, Zhao Zhou strikes again, severing its arm and drastically reducing its XP. The general turns to him, asking who he is, as Zhao Zhou steps fully in front of the demons. He snaps his fingers, and all his phantoms launch 7 star-pointing flaming arrows at each demon, wiping them all out in a single strike. The general cannot believe that this boy defeated every demon on his own. Impressed, he gives Zhao Zhou a small chest as a reward. When Zhao Zhou opens it, he is stunned by his luck. Inside is a golden stone, an item capable of transferring every attribute into reality. It is the heart of a warrior, and it feels like Zhao Zhou has just fast-forwarded through all the toughest chapters of the city, skipping the hardest challenges entirely.